The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
What up, everybody? Senior Bowl Saturday. Welcome into the Sportsocracy. Holy shit, I just woke up 14 minutes ago, and it shows. Welcome into the Sportsocracy Senior Bowl special with me and armchair commentary. Welcome in, David Smith.
What is happening?
I am trying to balance all of Tank's jobs with all of mine, so this could be fun for a minute.
Well, you know, it's one of those things where we are in. First off, let me just start off by saying, Merry Draftmas season.
Oh, it's the best time of year. I mean, this is what it's all about.
Built different. This is what Jeremy is built for. Everybody has their thing. We had a commercial up here in Canada. Everybody's good at something. This is what Jeremy's good at.
This is what I'm good at. This is also what Daniel Jeremiah is good at. I have never seen a human look more awkward in an announce booth than Daniel Jeremiah. He just stands there like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, they pay me to be smart, not to, actually do shit.
There's people that are built to stand in booths, and there are people like, I don't know if I could picture Al Michaels doing a great job standing.
No, because first of all, he's like 5'4", which would become very obvious if he was standing. I'll also tell you, I'm not built to stand either. I am entirely too tall to stand. If I was in that booth, I would be a head taller than all of them.
Oh, those skinny legs.
Oh, just a little feller. But it's been a good week in Mobile. I've got a couple guys, shout out to Wes Pruitt and his guys at 4-Star Media that have been down there keeping me abreast of the activities. The only media company in Memphis, Tennessee that is actually at this, which shocked me. Still shocks me. I'm actually supposed to be there, but I'm not. Thanks, thing I can't talk about that threw my things all cattywampus.
We don't use cattywampus enough.
We don't. Stephen Tao said mouse in the middle screen. That was on me. That's my fault. I had the mouse sitting right over David's face, so it looked like there was a fly that was about to fly into his glasses. Dave, how much of the practices have you watched?
A little bit. I've caught more highlights of practice than I have of full-on practices because, unfortunately, unlike my associate there in Asheville, I still have a regular day job. So.
Oh, I have a regular day job. I mean, I have kind of a regular day job.
You have a day job.
I have a day job that's the radio side of this. So I get to do
my days.
I get to do a lot of fun things, and I get to do a lot of annoying things. Speaking of annoying things, Monday in the happy hour, we will be unveiling the official most overrated band in the history of musical things bracket. It looks fantastic. I put it together today. All together, it's going to look exactly like CBS unveiling the 64 teams of the NCAA tournament.
Are you going to have bubble teams too? Are we going full bubble?
We've got a few just missed. The just missed teams will start to piss you off because they're all bad bands. So the bands that didn't make it, they all just suck. There was a common theme. To be overrated, you have to be rated in the first place. So I feel like people are going to see Creed, and they're going to go, Creed should be a higher seed. But they're not because you all hate them. Because you don't respect good music.
Riding and dying with the Creed.
I love Creed, okay? Scott Stapp, man. Let's go. Higher. By sacrifice. Let's do this.
Higher is a great song.
They're all bangers, okay? Everybody wants to hate on Creed, but every one of those songs is a fucking banger, and you know it. You know when that comes on, you're not turning it off. That's all I'm saying. Oh, I got to find my... Oh, no. Can't do commentary without your roster. Feel like I'm at a baseball game. Get your program. Don't know who's playing if you don't have your program.
Just getting my my Senior Bowl roster up myself.
Oh, look at the big guy. Oh, Ron Middleton. I love how he's our head coach. Rob Salah was supposed to be the head coach, and he just went, no.
I mean, it's not like they treated him to Hawaii. We're talking about Mobile.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's Mobile, Alabama. So it's not like this is some great but I will tell you this. There has been a history of teams that coach in this game winding up with great sleeper players that came out of this game.
Right. And that was it goes to the question I asked you earlier in the week in the chat. If you're not subscribed already, make sure to hit that sub button. Join the House of Reprehensibles, where you can do fun things like super chat and, get your comments read like I do way too often. But people have an opportunity here to actually improve their stock. Some people maybe not so much. And you made the point that we're going to be looking at, a couple of guys who are coaching on the Lions and on the Jet side that have mucho picks.
Oh, yeah.
The top of the draft.
You've got incredible draft capital here for both of these teams. If you're curious, I just got to the kickoff. Oh, we got a trick play on the kickoff, and it didn't go anywhere. Tremendous. Don't do that, okay? That's not what this game is about. We need way less of what just happened.
Oh, what do you have to be thinking as a coach doing a trick?
Oh, I mean, well, this is, you got to say, for the coaches, they take this more seriously than people think, because this is a great talent evaluation tool. Malik Willis will be the first one out on the field for the American team, excuse me. I figured that would be Sam Howell, but Malik Willis has been so good this week that I'm not surprised. Oh, that's not what you want to see.
No.
See, and I'm going to be honest with you. That first throw from Malik Willis kind of tells you everything you need to know about why I'm not super fond of him. All right, so that's a free play. If there's one time you should ever in your life not have happy feet, it's right there.
You need to air that out.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, and it's you got to be careful with you got to air it out because the ball that was not a draw you off play. So that's one where the kid just comes off sides. You got to deal with what you work with. But he threw that completely off balance. I mean, that should be a free play. Then he threw it off balance, and that's something I don't love about Malik Willis. By the way, the visual, I love that everyone else after this week has figured out what I already knew about Greg Dulcich. He is a bad man. When safeties go to sleep at night, their nightmares are haunted by the visions of that long-haired, mulleted gent. This is if your team's in the market for a tight end, this is a hell of a time to be alive.
There's a lot of tight ends. I don't know what your draftable grades are on tight ends this year, but there are a lot of high-end tight ends. Of course, everybody gets really down on tight end quick, but it takes time to develop a good tight end.
Well, I mean, I can tell you, we haven't put out tight ends yet, but Trey McBride's my number one overall, and he's here. So you will see him today. Oh, but that's what Malik does. Look at Malik doing what Malik does. But even the good play, get down. Malik Willis is what, if I didn't know him better, I would swear he had a death wish. I want to get just absolutely blasted on the field. This is such a good play, but right here, get down.
Do you see that Justin Fields aspect in him?
To a degree.
Justin Fields doesn't get down, doesn't slide. He wants the extra yard.
He has a better arm than Fields.
Yeah, in the NFL, that'll get you killed, though.
Absolutely.
That'll get you murdered.
The thing to me, the overall grades on Malik Willis and Justin Fields are pretty close because Malik Willis has a very lively arm. I see some of the same issues reading the field, and Malik Willis is a lot less likely to get down, which is unsettling at best.
If you're looking at a quarterback to draft, that is not what I want to see.
No, and so that's why I always say this about Malik Willis. If Denver takes him at 9 with the intention of him being the starter this year, that terrifies me. Damian Pierce in the backfield. This is a kid that has had a great week of practice here in Mobile, so it's somebody to keep your eyes on. But yeah, I mean, that scares me with Malik Willis. Now, conversely, I feel like Dan Campbell, the coach of the American team, has gotten such a good firsthand look at Malik Willis. I wouldn't be shocked if their intention going into this draft is to take him with their second one, the one they got from the Rams for Jared Goff.
Right.
Because I'll be honest with you, it was Calvin Austin. That's a kid that's had an unbelievable week of practice. Literally every report I've heard from Mobile has had his name in it. That kid's been phenomenal. He's just a little guy, but
I'm really curious to see what happens with the wide receiver position in this year's draft, given what we've seen the last 2 years of drafting, where teams haven't shied away from going for top tier wide receiver talent versus maybe building out the O-line, like looking at what Cincinnati did. And we just saw what Malik Willis should have done that first play with a proper slide.
But that's learning. That's a good slide. That was a good decision. So far, a good start here from Malik Willis. This has been impressive.
And we could chalk that first play up to nerves, too.
Oh, 100%.
First snap of the game, it's a showcase. You're on first, which I feel like is probably a little unsettling, but you may want to get it out of the way and done with, and then you can go relax and hang out on the sidelines.
Nice tackle there from Troy Anderson out of Montana State. That's a guy that we'll talk about a lot in the lead up to this draft. He's got some interesting tape. Small school kid, definitely somebody you got to keep your eye on, and more of a developmental project, but there's a hell of a story there. I know Scott Cutshaw loves that kid. I think he's played every position on the field at some point in his life.
Those jackknife players, those Swiss Army knife types are becoming more and more prevalent. Well, play action to Tolbert. Jalen Tolbert, number 8 right there, wide receiver out of South Alabama. He's somebody I'm really interested to see how good of a day he can have today. Alex Manjabi asked in the comments, and feel free to get your questions in the comments. Dave and I will answer them as the game allows, and we will try to get to every one of them. Are there any Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews tight ends? Jeremy Ruckert out of Ohio State reminds me of them in terms of his frame. I like Ruckert. The only problem with Ruckert is that I never saw the production on the field. So you're at Ohio, and look, I understand that you've got just a slew of wide receivers around him, so I got to be careful hammering you for that. But that being said, I never really saw him have great games. I think there's a lot of raw talent. I don't really see Mark Andrews with him. I see more of, with Ruckert, I could see him being a really good all-around tight end. Just a throwaway there for Malik Willis. Leads to 3rd and 16. That's a smart play, though.
It was. He extends the play, gets out of the – and this is something that he does well. This is one of the things that you see as a massive pro on his tape, is that he escapes the pocket, and right there he sees nothing, so he just gets it out. That's not a negative play. A lot of scouts see that as a negative play. Oh, you extended out of the pocket and you didn't find anybody.
This is the kind of stuff that I think Kansas City wishes Patrick Mahomes did more often this year. Get back to, if you're out of the pocket
and throw it away.
It's okay to get rid of it. Stop trying to take the sack and run, 40 yards crisscrossing the field.
100%.
It's absolutely unreal.
100%. Now, in terms of, are there any Kelce, Mark Andrews tight ends? I think Greg Dulcich, who you're going to hear me say that name a bunch of times today. He's number 85 for the American team out of UCLA. That offense did not lend to him being as big of an impact as I think he can be, because Dorial, I always fuck his name, Dorial Bethel Robinson. There's 3 names. That's what he's not in the damn draft, so I don't care. I'll care next year. Well, he is in the draft, but he's not draftable. Dulcich is a kid that I think can be a Mark Andrews. You put him in the right situation, and he can be tremendously effective. A little dump off right there that was TJ Pledger out of Utah. It's interesting tape on, Chad Moma. Chad Moma, that's my dude right there. In terms of other tight ends, I mean, there are a bunch of them in this game. I mean, just looking at the depth charts for all these teams, you've got a kid that I haven't talked about at all yet in Grant Calcaterra that as the process goes on, I will say a lot about him. I could promise you that. Isaiah Likely out of Coastal Carolina. Go ahead.
Why you try to run that out on the punt is beyond me.
You're trying to make a play. You see this a lot in All-Star games. A kid tries to make a play. If you're not watching the game live, Bo Melton, he's a receiver from Rutgers, literally caught the punt in the end zone, tries to run it out, winds up down on the 3 when he could have just let it go and be a touchback. That is a negative play. And he's a kid that's trying to make it in the league as a special teamer. So right there, you're trying to make a play, and you actually hurt yourself by trying to make the play.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of the wind out of the sails too, and you just got the ball back now. You just got the ball first time in the game, and you're already going to be starting in negative territory.
Oh yeah, I mean you're pressed up against it, and that's just that's just a mental mistake. Interesting to see as the game goes on if you can make up for that mental mistake. Other tight ends, there are a couple more for the national team in this game. Trey McBride out of Colorado State is a kid that I am drunk in love with. I love the idea of him going to the Tennessee Titans at the back end of the first round. Charlie Kohler out of Iowa State, another kid that I'm just drunk in love on. The stats this year did not speak to how good of a player he can be. If I had to say there was a Mark Andrews type, Charlie Kohler could fall into that as well. He's not overly athletic. He's not going to grade really well, but by golly, he's a football player. Tyler Cunningham asked, do you think Brian Robinson is productive? I see him get stopped almost every play. Robinson is productive, and there's a lot of tread left on the tires. The thing about Brian Robinson is that I see an innate talent in him that I don't know that Alabama got the most out of. It's just not – I feel like Alabama fans look at him and he wasn't Najee Harris, and people are disappointed in that. I mean, Najee Harris was a first-round running back that I didn't scream from the rooftops of why in the hell did you take him, which means he was really, really good.
What was the last first-round running back grade you gave? So Najee last year.
I didn't have a first-round grade. I didn't have a first-round grade on him, but he was very close too.
And and let's be honest, he showed why he is that guy in the NFL with that listless Steelers offense with the corpse of Ben in the backfield.
The last first-round grade that I had on a running back was probably Saquon. But even him, I had him in the mid-first round.
Right, and I guess that's what I'm getting at, is that it's okay. Like, you can be a productive running back, especially in this league. As long as you've got hands, you're going to get looks.
Oh, absolutely. G-Baby asked, who should the Las Vegas Raiders draft in the first round this year? And I'm going to piggyback on Kelvin Joyner's answer. He said, I'm hoping that Utah linebacker, that would be Devin Lloyd, falls to us. If not, we can trade back, still get a receiver we like. There's actually a kid that if you're a Raiders fan, you should be really paying close attention to. And let me tell you his number. He's number 18 for the American team. So you will see him on defense right now. His name's Damone Clark. There are a lot of people that I talk to in the industry that think Damone Clark's the number one linebacker in his class. I do not agree with them, just so you know.
Look at these tiny hands. Look at these
it's all scoot. Look down here, Guinea Pig.
So cute.
I feel like a lot of people think I really don't like Guinea Pig. I do. It's just, okay, you can see it right here. Look how just itty bitty tiny little hands are.
Yeah.
Pat Narduzzi had to come out and defend him this week. Like, okay. But that's a good opening play right there. Good opening play. Just a good play call. You know, you got Rachaad White right there out of the backfield, just a little dump off, get out of the seal of your own end zone.
Space. Yeah,
I mean that's a high level play. That's a high level play. So I mean, I like Kenny Pickett. I just don't think he has the same ceiling that say a Malik Willis or a Sam Howell do. I mean, I still got him at 3. I still got him. He's gonna go in the first round. I'm interested to see how he plays today. 2nd and 3 here for the Americans, or for the national squad. I'm going to figure that out eventually. I mean, you would think that the bottom third there, where the national team's in orange and the other one's in white, that would be enough for me. Like that. Oh, no. You mean they're wearing the color that's behind their name? Well, hot diggity damn.
Yeah.
But no, not good enough for me.
Nope.
But other positions that I would look at if I was the Raiders, in the first 2 picks that you take in the draft, I would say you're probably going to end up with a linebacker and a wide receiver, an over-the-top receiver. So guys in this game that you should be, just keeping your eyes on that I think would be fits. Nice play right there by Pickett. Rolls out, nice out-of-the-pocket throw, hits
Jake Ferguson out of Wisconsin.
Jake Ferguson. Old turd Ferguson.
The only thing with that so the play starts beautifully. Kenny Pickett under center, rolls out, looks good. The throw's a little behind, but Ferguson helps him out. Nice grab, and then easy first down conversion. But
it's a good play. One of the things I love about Kenny Pickett is that he always looks so composed. No matter what he does, he looks unbelievably composed. Even there, that's just a basic 4-yard route, and it's just easy as hell for him. The completion right there to Romeo Doubs, somebody that we will talk about a lot today. I like that kid a mess. I think Nevada kind of held him back. That team was not great. Low level of competition. A lot of people didn't see him, but he's a receiver that can definitely come in and contribute right away in this league.
First defensive play of the game.
Oh, I think you're a little ahead of me. Was that the second and sixth play?
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Kenny right there holds on to the ball too long. Just straight up, Kenny holds on to the ball too long. I mean, you got to get that off. That's a play, actually. I mean, literally, you can watch it on the replay right here. All right, so you see the hole open up. Doesn't fall for it. Hey, guess who that was? I'll give you one guess who that was that filled the hole. Damone Clark. Raiders fans, you want to get excited about a linebacker? Your team likes him, and I know it. I don't just think that. I know that. Frankly, there are a lot of people that like that like him. And I'm not down on him. I feel like what I said makes it sound like I'm down on him. And D'Angelo Malone actually got the sack there. I think he will be a nice third-day addition to a team. Pickett drops back, clean pass, or clean pocket, excuse me.
Trey McBride.
I love Trey. God, I love Trey.
He's a big fella, too.
He is. There's not a lot to not like about him. To me, that's a first-round tight end. No doubt that is a first-round tight end. Now on to punt for the national team. Number 96, Jordan Stout, mulleted man. Should I take my hat off for this?
Holy smoke.
Should I take my hat off for this? Since he's got a mullet and so do I?
Yeah, you need to. It's a must. Holy
my Lord, what a punt!
I'm
fellas,
excited about special teams.
All right, we need to have a special teams meeting about catching punts over our heads or in the end zone.
No,
neither of those things ever end well. I didn't say. Did you see who the return guy was?
No, I didn't, because he got swallowed up.
Yeah, well, I was just so consumed by the punt that I wasn't paying attention to who caught it.
Well,
hell of a
punt
punt there.
Trying to do say hey kid catches, it's a little that's a little risky. And you turn around and oh surprise, the defense is there. They're ready for you.
Well shit, what do I do here? The mullet it boo-boo kittied my headphones. All right, let's see. Let's get back to questions in the comments. Derek Farrow, what about offensive linemen for the Bengals? Let me give you a couple guys to watch in this draft today. With your first-round pick, I don't think when I did my first mock draft, speaking of which, 7-round mock draft will be coming out this week. So Dave has his popcorn ready. When I did my first mock draft, I had him taking Trevor Penning. Let me just go ahead and tell you, Trevor Penning, kid out of Northern Iowa. Damn, I had NIU in my head, and I couldn't get away from Northern Illinois. Kid out of Northern Iowa that I really like, he's not going to be there at 31 or 32. So, I mean, I know that you would love to have him. Somebody asked me about him in the comments, and I'm not seeing it now. Majabi asked me about him. I am a big fan of Trevor Penning. I think he will go somewhere in the 15 to 25 range. A kid that I will tell you, if you're a Bengals fan, you're looking for a lineman. Tyler Smith out of Tulsa. That is a name that has gained a copious amount of traction. He's not here in Mobile, so you won't see him on the field today. But there has been a lot of traction behind him. I now have him slated to go in the beginning of the second round into the first round. So that's a kid that's screaming up boards. He's a man-child. You look at him and go, hey, I bet you're an offensive lineman. You're not surprised that that's what he does. Excuse me. In terms of players that you could be looking at today, I see that Tyler Cunningham brought one of them up in the comments. Ed Ingram. There's another one from the same school, Chasen Hines. Those are two interior linemen that I'm really, really fond of. This is a good draft in the mid-tier for linemen. It's not great on the top side because you're going to see Evan Neal, you're going to see Tyler Linderbaum, you'll see Charles Cross, and then there's a drop-off, and people think that it just means, oh, well, now we can't find any actual linemen. Well, that's not true. And I would argue there's more of them in this draft than there has been in practically any draft that I've ever evaluated. Is there any that have caught your eye, Armchair?
Linemen? Sadly, not anything outside of what you've just mentioned here. I've been focused, unfortunately for me, or fortunately, most of my attention goes to dynasty-relevant players. So I've been spending a lot of time looking at, 3 and 4 year project guys like McBride and maybe a quarterback or two, or, maybe a wide receiver, as opposed to checking out the actual football positions that are needed, like linemen and linebackers and, safeties.
There's nothing wrong with that. I can pick up the grunt work. In the comments, let me get back to Common Sense. Welcome, Common Sense. We're like an AM meeting for sports. Asked who is the best punt returner in this draft class. That's kind of hard to answer. If you're looking for a player that you could see using an actual pick on, if you're thinking like a Tyreek Hill, it's Wan'Dale Robinson. It's not all that close. You get the ball in Wan'Dale Robinson's hands and just good things happen. Now, in terms of late round flyers, let me see if there's a guy that I'm trying to think if there's a guy in the Senior Bowl that I could really focus on.
It was just a handoff to Robinson Jr. I know I'm probably a little ahead of you. 3rd and 7.
You're actually a whole play ahead of me. Brian Robinson's a kid that I'm just really, really fond of. He's just got a great attitude to damn near everything.
The thing about guys from Alabama, they're really well coached.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really have to worry about, are they going to be able to pick up the system, because they've basically been instilled with that their entire playing time. Good luck trying to slack off or dicker around on Saban. It's just not going to happen.
Malik Willis with another off balance pass, but he gets bailed out.
Bailed out. Good old fashioned ref ball. Gets
bailed out. That is going to be a first down for the American squad.
We'll get this right eventually. I know. Look, they're right in front of me. Still don't get it.
Okay, can we not? Why? I hate the orange uniforms.
I know.
I do. I hate the orange uniforms. It was Jalen Watson on the pass interference, and I never saw a replay, so I couldn't tell you what I actually saw there. Come on, NFL Network, get your shit right.
And once you see this play from Malik
Willis, oh boy,
yeah, this is what gets me excited about this guy. Yeah.
The only problem is, okay, now I'm going to be honest with you. The way that ended, there's a lot of that happens with him, where he does all of these special things, and then the ball goes, bouncing out of bounds. Like, oh, well, I mean, that was fun and all. That was sweet that you did that, but okay.
Where's the result? And I guess that's what you got to ask yourself. If you're taking Malik Willis, like you said, if he goes to the Lions, great, because he's got opportunity to learn there. He's got opportunity to figure it out. You have Gorf for another year. Hang out.
Slasher asked in the comments, what is with the hype around Malik Willis? And I can explain this. The hype around Malik Willis is that he has the best arm in this class, and it's not even close. All right, so when you get into a class like this, and the last time I saw this was the E.J. Manuel, Geno Smith draft. And what happened in that one, there were only 2 high-level prospects that you could possibly have seen, and then the bottom just fell out. Manuel went in the middle of the first round, Geno went in the middle of the second round, and neither one of them turned out to be jack squat. So, sorry, Geno Smith still makes my head hurt. Like, just hearing his name pisses me off.
I still think Buffalo did EJ wrong.
They did.
I think there's a couple of guys. I also feel that way about Nate Peterman sometimes.
Nathan Peterman.
Where they're like, you're in, and he throws a bunch of interceptions, so like, you're out.
Like, yeah. Wait a minute. Well, I mean, now if you
another quarterback.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: if they're doing a commercial for the Spicy Lovers Pizza Hut pizza. Oh, Daryl from The Office. God, I would love to eat one of those with Daryl from The Office. I would love to eat one of those with anyone. God, that is a high level pizza. Do you have Pizza Hut in Canada?
Oh yeah.
Huh. I'm going to be honest with you. You'll find that I'm going to ask a lot of those questions over the course of this 3-hour live stream.
That's what we're here for.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Hard questions.
You're one of the first Canadians I've ever known. I mean, that's not true. One of my best friends is Canadian, but I never look at him and go, "Hey, do you have McDonald's in Canada?" And then insert fast food entity here.
Brian Dable's Canadian.
I did not know that. Yeah. Explains one reason he loved Buffalo so much.
Second Canadian head coach ever.
Oh, who was the first one?
The difference. It might have been Trestman. I don't remember if he was the first one.
I know he coached in the CFL.
But
the good thing is that I can GTS.
This is what happens. So SportsCenter in the U.S. doesn't care about this stuff, but in Canada, they'll make sure to point it out. Be like, hey, we love seeing ourselves. This is one of our favorite pastimes. We go, hey, Canadian.
He's a Canadian. He's a Canadian.
It's one of our favorite things to do. Stephen Tell asked what province I'm in. I'm in Nova Scotia.
When you search Canadian NFL coaches, it comes up with Bud Grant, Marv Levy, and then a slew of people I've never heard of before.
Interesting.
Is Marv Levy Canadian? I did not know that. Roy asked in our comments, Jaguar fan, everyone be nice to Roy. After I was so mean to his team yesterday, I must answer his question. Who is your sleeper receiver? I have a lot of answers to that. For me, there's not just one answer to, not a high-level play right there by Willis. Not a high-level play by Willis. There's one that you're getting ready to see on offense. Oh, but we might have a face mask. We do. Did they call it?
Nope, they didn't call it.
Wow. Come on, refs. This is an evaluation tool. I need you to get. I don't need to be talking about the refs at the damn Senior Bowl. There's a kid in this game, to the answer to Roy's question, that has had a tremendous week. His name is Khalil Shakir. He's on the national team. So when the orange team's on the field, you have a chance to see him. He's out of Boise State. Very shifty little guy. I actually had somebody compare him to Amon-Ra St. Brown to me. I don't see that. I loved Amon-Ra, and I still do. But he's a guy that I think will go in probably in day 2 and come in and be a high-level player very quickly.
No, they just put probably one of the dumbest stats I've ever seen on the quarterback, forced missed tackles.
Yeah.
I don't want my quarterback to be missing any tackles. He shouldn't be getting tackled.
Well, the thing is that the other three are all running backs. Kenneth Walker and Brian Robinson both on that graphic. And Malik Willis holds the ball too long, and down he goes. I don't get it with him. I really don't. I don't love it. Pan, our friend from Poland, asked what inside linebacker could be available at 20 for the Steelers. The three linebackers that I look at as first-round grades would be, or as first-round talents, not necessarily first-round grades. I only have 22 first-round grades. Nakobe Dean out of Georgia, the knock on him is he's short. Devin Lloyd, who we already talked about, out of Utah. And then Damone Clark, who we will talk about a lot in this game. He's already had a nice play in this game. Roy asked about David Bell. I like David Bell. I do like David Bell. I think he can come in and he'll be a day two guy. Probably go in the mid to back side of the second round. And, I think he can come in and be an immediate contributor. Do I think he ever has, Pro Bowl heights? No. But he's very talented. He's a guy that you could you will feel good walking away from the draft knowing that you got David Bell. Do you have a receiver in this draft you like, David?
There was a couple that I was taking some extra interest in. I'm pretty curious to see some of the smaller school guys like Christian Watson. I'm interested in seeing what Braylon Sanders can get done. On the other side,
for posterity's sake, I really like Braylon Saunders as a day three kind of flyer guy.
Yeah, and this is when I look at this, I'm not thinking to myself, "Oh yeah, I need to grab top tier guys." Like I said, I pay attention for fantasy, and in particular Dynasty, which makes it a little more interesting.
I love seeing my team on the graphic with 2 top 10 picks. That just that makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
As it should.
Already at 800 playbacks on this video. Everybody be sure to click that like button. I'm not real good at asking for that, so.
Click the like button, share it out. I put it on the tweeter machine earlier.
I know exactly what's happening. People are searching for the video of the Senior Bowl, and they're coming across our mugs, which is fine. That's fine.
I like it.
Kenny Pickett back in for the national squad here. Alex Majabi, which corners will go in the first and in what order? Hoping Andrew Booth drops to 17. Andrew Booth will be there at 17. If I had to say which ones will go in the first, Sauce Gardner will probably be the first one. There is a possibility that Trent McDuffie is the second one. Oh, if that was a better pass, that would have been 6. If that was a better pass, that would have been 6. That was not a high-level throw there by but Christian Watson, I think, had a very nice grab right there. Very nice grab for the North Dakota State product. Oh, it's just such a bad pass. Good God, he'd walked in the end zone. Come on there, Donald Trump hands. I need you to. Oh, I believe we have a review. I believe we'll be reviewing to see if he actually caught this or not. But in terms of, to finish off the answer to the corners question, I would say Sauce Gardner probably goes first among the corners. Trent McDuffie has gotten a lot of traction. Roger McCreary had a real good week here in Mobile. I would say he has pretty well solidified himself as a first rounder. The one that I can't get a tab on is Derek Stingley Jr. He has the best tape I've seen, but it was 2 years ago. Injury issues, a lot of downsides with Derek Stingley. And he's going to fall. There are a lot of people that keep putting him in at 4 to the Jets. He's not going 4 to the Jets.
Who do you think has the best opportunity to improve their stock as Pickett checks down here for? I'm going to let you catch up.
Well, the good thing is when you say that, I know who I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Oh, well, looky there. Looky there. Our first touchdown of the game Abram Smith, another kid that's had a pretty good week this week, gives it to the big guy, Daniel Falele, for the spike. Falele, on the other hand, has not had a great week.
No.
He has been poopy.
So we got our first offensive play that actually resulted in something significant. There's a lot of talk kind of around league circles about the difference between the flash, what we see with Lamar and even Joe Burrow lately, and
Joe Burrow
versus your traditional, like, I'm not afraid to check it down quarterback, which obviously I think Kenny Pickett is.
Oh, absolutely.
Kenny Pickett in the right system, I think, will be fine. Obviously, you had that same comment on McCorkle.
I did have that same comment on McCorkle.
It's system dependent. Do you think that that's going to kind of impact where they take him? Are teams just going to be are they going to be unafraid of taking someone like Kenny Pickett early on? I think that depending on the right team, he could have a solid career.
I do too. I mean, he can be with Kenny Pickett. I've said routinely, he can be a very high level version of Colt McCoy. That to me is his ceiling. Is you can be the best version of Colt McCoy we have ever seen. But now that being said, in the right system, I love Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh. I just can't get away from that. I know a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers fans think it's going to be Jimmy G. I don't love Jimmy G in Pittsburgh as much as I do in other places.
He's a commander.
Yeah, I mean, and I think Garoppolo is better than people give him credit for.
Yes.
On your screen there, you'll see Logan Hall out of Houston and Darian Beavers, the linebacker, two guys that I like a pretty good deal. Logan Hall, great week this week. Really helped his draft stock. Could sneak into the back end of the first round.
Oh, my God. Oh, that is a whole lot of ugly. There's a whole lot of ugly.
Oh, off the back foot. Oh, my. Oh, good Lord.
Why? Oh,
good hell.
Let's start with that throw.
That throw was fucking terrible.
Jump throw off the back foot.
Oh, here's my analysis on that. Don't do that.
Mm-mm.
And Kobe Bryant. And Kobe Bryant shows one of the big flaws in Kobe Bryant is that's what he does. Kobe loves to get handsy deep down the field. That's the reason he's going to be probably a beginning of the third day pick.
He'll end up on special teams somewhere.
I mean, I think he could be a contributor. The problem is that he's very quickly getting a reputation for exactly what you just saw. There's absolutely no reason to do that. That ball was 20 yards underthrown.
On account of he threw it off his back foot while jumping.
And that's the thing. That's what Malik Willis does that a lot.
So we've seen, this is our third series of Malik Willis.
Mm-hmm.
And so far I've seen 3 plays like this where this is very good Malik Willis right here. You're going to see him. Yeah. And he makes a bunch of cuts, and you're going to see why people are going to fall in love with this guy. And I've seen 3 or 4 underthrows off the back foot that just keep making me go, no, it's scary. That's a scary thought.
The thing with Malik Willis is the high side, if he can be reined in the right system, is very high because he could be a better throwing version of Lamar Jackson. The bad thing is that he could also be a very bad version of Pat White, who just gets killed on the sideline and then gets his flowers, and we never see or hear from him again.
I mean, that run it's a beautiful run.
Oh, he's a great runner. The problem is that I'm not in love with what the arm does consistently.
Yeah.
While we're
rank him
go
arm
ahead.
strength out of these quarterbacks that we see today. So Bailey Zapp, Malik Willis, Carson Strong, Ritter, Pickett, and Howell.
Oh, he's got the best arm. He's got the best arm by a mile.
And how many times has he shown us that arm in the last 3 drives?
Not
Once.
Not much, and it's yielded nothing. 1 pass interference is what we've actually seen him do. While we're in this commercial break, I'm going to go inhale a heater real quick. So, Dave, I'm going to cede the floor to you, and I'll be right back.
Excellent. Yeah, hail to the commies. Absolutely. Curtis, you're 100% on that. And they are tough defenses in that division, Roy. I think that Jimmy's okay. I think Jimmy gets a lot of slack for being hurt. When he wasn't playing, people were like, "Oh, Jimmy's horrible. He's the worst." I just don't believe it. I simply don't believe it. I like looking at the numbers when Jimmy is available and healthy. He's actually a better than average quarterback, which is, if we're looking at, say, a team like the Commanders, I don't see how that could not be a positive. I don't see how you could look at the Commanders and go, Jimmy G wouldn't improve this team. Now, he's certainly at least as good as Fitzmagic was in his high side. He doesn't have the beard. If he grew the beard, maybe people would like him more. We have outside of Cincy, the AFC North is run first. And yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And I would even argue that even Cincy isn't afraid to run it. Not afraid to run it at all. Seeing a replay of Smith getting up to 18 whole miles per hour. It's a solid touchdown. We're not seeing a ton of offense here, and I'm trying to decide if it's the quarterback play has just been so-so, or are we seeing solid coverage overall? Is this where we're going to see the defense really impose its will on these people? All right, so the national team lining up. And it's a handoff. We got our first solid run of the game here by a running back. White cutting through, making some moves as we finally get our look at Desmond Ridder. I'm not curious. Look, Jimmy out of San Francisco. Everybody wants Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance is a bit of a flyer, and I'm curious to see what happens there. What have we seen from him? Like 40 snaps? Ooh. Give it some time. We'll give it some time. First injury of the day, Jared.
Oh, you never want to see that in an All-Star game. Who we got?
Number 98 on the American side.
98 on the American side is John Ridgway, kid out of Arkansas. I like this kid a lot. That is a kid right there that I guarantee you has driven a tractor in his life.
Yeah.
That kid right there
look at Ridder.
He has wrangled some farm life, and he plays that way. That kid's country strong as hell. That's a kid that I think will go to the combine and will blow the bench press out of the water.
Yeah.
He might do 9,000 reps of 225 pounds. But you never want to see a kid get injured in an All-Star game. You know, that's one of the things that irritates me is we talk about the injuries in, bowl games and things like that, and then these kids, then they come play at the Senior Bowl. Like,
yeah.
But, wait. Oh, wait, I have a button for that.
Oh, wait. Was she a great big fat person?
So we've got Ridder under center now.
Oh, he's had such a bad week. God, everybody is starting to see what I see in him.
And so far we've had 2 handoffs. Because why not?
Rashad White out of Arizona State. I like that kid.
He's
tall for a running back. Real tall for a running back.
He's the best looking running back we've seen today by far.
A very tall running back, 6'2", but he's blazing fast. I definitely think he has a role in an NFL offense. Abram Smith in the backfield here behind Ridder. Already with our only score of the day. So I guess we're done with Mr. Pickett today. An uneven showing for for Kenny medium-sized gloves. That's what I'm going to call him from now on. We call Teddy Bridgewater Teddy Two Gloves. Kenny Pickett is Kenny medium-sized gloves. Kenny Donald Trump hands.
I have a feeling the gloves that didn't fit OJ would fit Kenny.
100%. No doubt. There is no doubt about that. By the way, I love the graphic they just put up of the 3 winningest quarterbacks in collegiate football history. Kellen Moore, no NFL career to speak of. Colt McCoy, he's made a lot of money to hold a clipboard. And Desmond Ridder, who I think will follow right along in line with the guys on that list.
I love me some Colt McCoy, though.
I do like Colt McCoy.
It's a great football name.
Alex Majabi asked, are there any first-rounders who you don't think will partake in the Combine this year? Probably not. You won't see Thibodeau. You won't see Aiden Hutchinson. You won't see Evan Neal. You probably won't see a handful of other guys. Carl Loftus, it will be an interesting one. Tyler Linderbaum. I would say you probably will see Ike Ekwonu, who, good Lord. You want to talk about a kid that got talked about a lot this week? Ike Ekwonu got talked about a lot this week. There are some varying narratives on Ike Ekwonu, the offensive lineman at NC State, who I firmly believe could be a 10-time Pro Bowler as a guard. 2 or 3-time Pro Bowler as a right tackle, not great as a left tackle. Bernard Raymond out of Central Michigan. That's a kid I like. Good Lord have mercy. He's a monster of a human. Started out as a tight end. I always love those stories because those guys have great feet.
Ritter drops back for his first throw of his appearance and
tried to run the same play twice. Come on, Salah. I saw you do that in New York all year.
Droppity drop.
Not a great throw.
Of like trying to run some sort of like uptown. I mean, I don't want to see necessarily like, run to the line. I know that we're in an all-star game, so we're not going to see a ton. Mullets out, everybody. Mullets out for Jordan Stout.
Here it is. If you were a mulleted individual, get your mullet out for Jordan Stout.
But I'm just looking at these. That was another solid punt. Probably not as good as his first one was a banger. I couldn't believe how deep that went. I'm looking at these offenses, and it looks like everybody's afraid to call any sort of play. Everybody's looking for like. I know that you're trying to showcase. If I'm trying to show off as a quarterback who I am, handing the ball off 2 out of the 3 drives, and then a check down that's dropped is not doing me any favors.
Well, I mean, and that's, you got to understand, you had 4 days of install. So, you're not going to see a high-level offense. And you were talking about up-tempo. You can't really do that.
No.
You're allowed to do it inside I think you're allowed to run tempo inside the 2 minutes. We're on the 3rd collegiate all-star game of this of the off season, so I get a little confused on the rules because they're all slightly different.
While we're on commercial, Gus Bradley hired as to the Colts. You
so
see that per rap sheet?
Oh, Gus Bradley, that's a good hire.
Yep. To
replace new Chicago Bears head coach Matt Eberflus.
Eberflus is a verb, right? I've been Eberflused.
It's going to be, at least for me. Justin Fields got Eberflused. That's what happened to his career. I will never understand why they hired him, knowing full well that the fulcrum of that franchise is Justin Fields.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Teams do it all the time. I'll never understand it. Are you drinking a juice box? What is that? Is that strawberry juice?
Peach cocktail.
Oh.
When you have a toddler, you get fun things like juice boxes.
Indeed. I've bypassed that time in my life. No more juice boxes around my house.
You know what? Worth it.
Oh.
No regrets.
Alex Majabi asked opinions on Anthony Lynn to the Niners. I don't hate it at all. Anthony Lynn is very highly thought of in this league. He's not a great play caller. Oh, Ben Johnson's the offensive coordinator. We know Ben. That's cool to see. Yeah, Ben gets mentioned around the office here a lot.
Dan Campbell's going to have a barbecue in the parking lot now, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Oh, now that Dan Campbell's not actually doing anything, yeah, Dan's going to be drinking Busch Lights on the sideline and crushing full beer cans on his forehead. Why is his nose always so red? Dan Campbell's nose always looks like he just came out of Siberia. I mean, I would never say that to his face.
No, he'd eat you.
No, he would punch me right in the neck throat.
Oh.
Sam Howell under center, my number one quarterback in this draft class. Oh, you gotta catch that. Hey, stop.
Actually, I don't hate that play.
I don't either. That's what Sam Howell's used to. Great throw, and then your receiver poops on you.
I think this is why we're seeing Sam Howell as your number one.
Sam Howell's got a good arm. You got to deep dive on the tape to really understand. If you just watch the results, yeah, there were some inconsistencies, but a lot of it wasn't on Sam. Nice run right here from Brian Robinson. Oh, that's not Brian Robinson. Oh, who is that? Oh, it is Brian Robinson. I was right. Being colorblind watching these games can be a shitload of fun.
Thanks a lot, Reese's.
Yeah, with your sweet orange bullshit. By the way, best way to eat a Reese's.
The peanut butter cups?
Yeah.
Whole.
One bite. One bite, everybody knows the rules.
Yeah.
I just found out there's a gas station right below Radio Ranch that keeps their Reese's in the freezer.
You need that.
That's some high-quality H2O.
Dear YouTube comments, if you haven't had frozen Reese's yet, do yourself a favor.
Oh, it's so good.
Do it.
Tyler Cunningham asked in the comments, should the Panthers trade Christian McCaffrey? The contract will prevent you from doing that, in that no one would pick it up. The dead money's an albatross. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yep.
Oh, no. Oh, Nelly. Oh, that's a kid whose name you're going to hear me say a lot. This Boya Mafe out of Minnesota. Boop.
What a play.
Oh, and I believe that is... Who recovered it? I can't see in the pile.
The American team recovered it.
Braxton Jones. Not a high-level block for you, my friend.
No.
Coming out of a small school, you really can't afford to get beaten like that. Mad props to Pat McAfee right here for the brand. Punt to the 20. Oh, we got a little return here.
Solid return.
I see no laundry on the field either. Much better return for Bo Melton than the first time we saw him.
Yes. A little redemption.
Two future NFL starters. They're talking to each other on the sideline.
So looking at this game so far as we round into another fun-filled commercial break, how are you evaluating offensive linemen when you look at this, not just as I guess how NFL teams are looking at this as well, because we're not seeing a ton of offense being generated, not a ton of gaps. Obviously, people are also trying not to get hurt. It is an all-star game, so we're not seeing pancakes left, right, and center. defensive guys are trying to flash, but what can the O-linemen do to really stand out here?
The linemen really get more play in the week of practice. And I'll just, notes that I took on the week, Braxton Jones, who actually just got absolutely eviscerated for that strip sack on Sam Howell. He was a kid that was he was highly spoken of this week. Jamari Sawyer had a reasonably good week. Penning is just a mountain of a man. Cade Mays is a guy you'll hear me talk about a lot in this process. Abraham Lucas, Bernard Raymond. The only guy that I think really hurt himself from a lineman perspective this week was Daniel Faalele. The door from Minnesota. 6'9", 400.
That's a big man.
Oh, good Lord. Daniel Jeremiah has DeMarvin Leal at 44. Stop. Okay. That's stupid. That's one of the dumber things I think I've ever seen somebody put out in public.
This is a solid punt return. This is kind of what you're looking for, but look at they're showing the close. What a close on that gap. Taking the angle hard. Channing Tindall.
Oh, yeah, good God. Yeah, that's a high level. That's a high level tape right there.
Yeah. Big time closing speed, big time angle awareness, taking the right read on that, not getting caught behind.
Tindall was one of the few. John Long says it bad when Jeremy's picking on how big you are. I would look like a small child next to Daniel Faalele. He could probably pick me up and burp me like a baby. It's actually not a terrible throw right there by Desmond Ridder. It was not a great decision because it was thrown into triple coverage, but
into triple coverage, yeah.
And again, a name that you're going to hear me say a billion times. Romeo Dubs. Alex Majabi. Will Fedarian Mathis make it into the first round? No. I would say he's more in that mid 2 to early 3. He'll fall in that range somewhere. I like him a lot. There's just some inconsistent tape, and you got to factor in the Alabama factor right there.
It's a solid run by Smith again.
It was. He's represented. He had a drop earlier, but he's represented himself pretty well. Frozen and whole in the freezer appears to be the Reese's take. All right, since Reese's is the official, first of all, is it Reese's or is it Reese's?
I've always called it Reese's. There's this weird thing where people call it Reese's, and I don't.
That's a Southern thing.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. That's going full, put some South in your mouth. Jimmy Hart, mouth of the South kind of shit. I bounce between them. Depends on what I'm talking about. If I'm talking about a Reese's peanut butter cup, then it's a Reese's. But now if we're talking about a Reese's Pieces, and I'm sure somebody will go, well, it's Reese's Pieces. I get that, but that's not how I say it.
It's not. Okay. It's not.
That's it, but it is. That's okay. John DeLon was talking about Desmond Ridder. Said Ridder can't read a defense tape. His life. He's a one-read quarterback like RG3. If the receiver isn't open, he runs. It's very accurate.
Well, just even watching this game so far, we've seen Ridder on 2 series. I think he has 5 handoffs.
Yeah, watch his head
and a couple of checkdowns.
Yeah, one of the things that I've routinely said about Desmond Ridder is that you can just watch the movement of his head. You don't see him move off reads very often.
Roy in the comments, it's pronounced delicious.
Correct.
And that's a ding for Roy.
Oh.
There we go.
I do have sound effects. Now that we've got everything else figured out, graphics, sorry, I did doing all the production myself today. And I can't emphasize this enough, I took a hell of a nap.
Naps are critical.
Oh, God, I love a good nap. I had my PhD appointment at 8:30 this morning. Had another meeting at 7:30. Shoot, buddy, this is an aggressive morning on a Saturday. Tomorrow, I'm going to take the information from this here Senior Bowl, and I'm going to do a 7-round mock draft in my underoos. Good cut. Good cut.
We're seeing a ton of good running back play on this drive.
Bernard Raymond, basically they're telling you everything I have already said about him. Hey, he's a gigantic human that started as a tight end. Yeah, that happens a lot. But he has such good feet. For a guy that's as big as he is, he's another guy you could see sneak in the first round. It wouldn't shock me at all. Good God, he ate somebody's lunchbox right there. That was a great block. Desmond Ridder,
Smith.
Look at Abram Smith out here just doing stuff. He's an interesting evaluation to me. I'm trying to remember where I had him slotted in among running backs. Let's pull up the old Jeremy Greene rankings here, shall we?
John says we need to get Ron White on the show.
I
I believe it's pronounced Ron White.
Tater salad, baby. Let's see. Oh, I wasn't super down on Abram Smith. It definitely impressed me today, though. He's a kid who I'll have to look at the evaluation on him again. So, HWA, if you're watching right now, just get real used to hearing the name Abram Smith, because he's the first name I've seen that I'm going to have to reevaluate.
He's showing out today. He's having a real, like, solid Senior Bowl so far.
Pan said, sometimes when I make this weird voice, I sound like the Tasmanian devil. Yeah. I believe that's the voice he was talking about.
Finally have an answer for Smith.
Definitely
Once
had a
again,
good day, though.
If you're Ridder, though, you got to be asking yourself, I guess you're not hurting yourself by handing the ball off. And
Yeah, but you kind of are. But you kind of are.
But as a quarterback showcase, you're not really doing much anything for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you're out here in the great showcase of talent.
Oh no.
And
yeah.
And you're out here handing the damn ball off.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh, that's not what you want to see. It's always a bad sign when you almost take out the official.
Yeah, you are way far out of there.
In the comments, Alex Majabi asked if Anais Smith is playing. He's actually going back to Texas A&M. Stephen Tao asked, what is the game clock at? My game clock is at 4:11. It's 3rd and 6.
Same here. I have 5 seconds left on the play clock.
I have 14.
So
That's one thing about it, and that's the delay from Asheville, North Carolina to Canada.
Yeah. We can blame the internet.
100%. I blame a lot of people. Above all else, Biden. I stubbed my toe earlier and blamed Joe Biden for it.
I blame it on Hillary Clinton, but I don't want to get killed.
You don't know anything about her. She doesn't give a fuck.
I'm just wondering what Desmond Ridder's got to do at this point to improve his draft stock. Because at this point, when I look at it, I go, I've seen nothing.
To improve his draft stock?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen anything that makes me – I've seen things that make me go, well, I mean, at least Malik Willis has an arm.
Oh, Malik Willis has definitely got the talent. It's just going to be in the right system. You're going to have to put him in the right situation. Stephen Tao said he just realized that you look like Jack Black.
No, I'm not as rotund.
I was about to say, you look like Jack Black if Jack Black did PhD or had a drug problem. Yeah. That he is now recovered from. Yeah, that he's now recovered from. You don't have meth face at all. But Tyler Cunningham no meth face. Tyler Cunningham asked, who's better to you, Kobe Bryant or Darian Kendrick? For me, it's Darian Kendrick. At this point. I have Kobe Bryant rated higher because I think there's a better path to him being a contributing player in the NFL. Now, if you told me that one of them became a high-level 2 back-end 1 starter in the NFL, I'd say it's Darian Kendrick. Kendrick has all of the talent in the world. He's just so damn undisciplined.
And that's going to be a problem. Teams will take a flyer on if you're in the 3rd or 4th. Yeah, okay, your talent will win out. You'll get drafted because of talent, but you're going to lose out on that top end pick.
Well, I mean,
because of that, the hands.
Well,
right?
I mean, the thing you got to remember with a kid like Kendrick, he was a 5-star.
Yeah,
and I've seen flashes of him being that guy. I've also seen flashes of him looking disinterested and inconsistent. Oh my God, Daniel Jeremiah has Daniel Faalele ahead of DeMarvin Leal. Stop, for the love of all that's good and holy, stop. What is the hate on DeMarvin? I do not get that. Oh, we're getting the speedometer out on Desmond Ridder.
The speedometer is useful if you were running from bears.
Correct.
I don't know how useful it is here.
I mean, because he can't throw. Desmond Ridder is
ugly.
Desmond Ridder is a homeless man's version of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
He's a decent runner that has a below average arm, but he can run.
That Malik Willis stat line is ugly.
Yeah, I mean, he represented himself reasonably well today.
And now we're watching Ridder do Ridder things again. And, John, it would be the molasses, but I'm ahead. It's the Canadian bacon. It strengthens the signal.
Yeah, I mean, anything that you put – oh, God. And Desmond Ridder gets dead. Desmond Ridder on the sideline gets decapitated.
Dead man Ridder. So you're going to get if you draft him.
Good Lord. Yeah, that's one of those that you should have gotten down. In the comments, Alex Majabi asked me about Chris Allen from Alabama and Ali Fayed. I don't like a ton of Chris Allen's tape. I mean, he's a late-round flyer guy. When I don't see you really jump off the screen at Alabama, it's hard for me to think that you're going to do it in the NFL. It's hard for me to think that Nick Saban didn't get the most out of your talent. Now, Ali Fayed, that's a little bit different. That kid can rush the passer that's what I think he is. I think he's a situational pass rusher right off the jump. And I would say he probably goes in the beginning of day 3. I'd say he's a late 4, early 5. Just solely because he's really good getting after the quarterback. But that's about all he does at an NFL level. He's not a great tackler, just an absolute liability in coverage. But he can come in and run that Elvis Doomerville type role where you don't have to do shit but hit quarterbacks. And that he 100% can do. Stephen Westbrook's asked in the comments, random comment, but Jeremy, have you checked out the Terry Bradshaw documentary on HBO Max? I have not, but now that you have asked that, I feel like my wife's going to see it, and I'm going to be forced to watch it because she's a Steelers fan. And
Terry
with
Bradshaw is becoming a little more unwatchable as he ages.
I don't mind Terry. I just wish they would stop doing the win Terry's money. It's not Terry's. It's okay. Don't talk to us like we're stupid. That really infuriates me.
And we're going to get another. Wow.
Poor Sam Howell is sitting over there like, can I get back in the game eventually? Like, it'd be super cool if we here.
Almost.
I thought Abram Smith was
having a game.
He really is. He's a kid that I'm going to have to go back and I'm going to have to take a decent long look at. Okay, maybe I missed something on him.
Mojave's asking about Tariq Woolen and Ali Greene the fourth.
Tariq Woolen I love. He's in this game. I have yet to see him make a play. He's out of UT San Antonio. That's a kid that's got all the raw talent in the world. I would say he probably goes in the third-ish round, somewhere in there. And I could see him being a starting corner in the NFL. Now, as for Ali Greene, he's very versatile. I project him more as a safety. He's really tall. He's very physical. He gets a little handsy. And one of the things you got to be careful of with a guy like Ali Greene is how well's he been coached. And look at what he had around him. They asked him to do a lot. But I do think he could come in as a developmental piece and be a project at free safety. He's a day 3 guy that I could easily see him being a productive player down the line. It's just going to take some time. Stephen Westbrook's asked, where do you see Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson being drafted? Very close to each other in the middle of the first round. Middle to the back end of the first round.
And Roy wants to know why is Howell's stock dropped on most analysts' board.
Oh, sorry. Those two must have come in at the same time. Sorry about that, Roy. So to the answer to Olave Wilson, I would say somewhere in that Saints range. The one thing you have to be careful with the Saints, I have already been told, watch out for them using their first-round pick to get a quarterback. They are going to be a team that is in the quarterback's market. But if they keep their pick, it could be a left tackle, could be Trevor Penning if Teron Armstead moves on this offseason. But I've had one of Olave, Jamison Williams, or Garrett Wilson to them in every mock draft I've done so far. Before free agency takes over and does things. Now, as for Howell, the problem with Howell is that if you just watched him live last year, you would not have been very impressed. Where I have a little bit different of a take on Howell is that I work for a North Carolina Tar Heels affiliate. So I am inundated by Sam Howell footage all day, every day. So I've seen a lot of him. And a lot of what he gets dinged for was not on him. People have undersold. Oh, look at Ramsey's getting it with the Reese Peasy. Ramsey's just out there dude, stanky leg, dude. I like the mascots. I really do. I like the mascots. I'm mortified by the Reese's mascot, though. Why does it have a body with a Reese's Pieces on its head? It's a Reese cup on the head of a person. That's horrifying. Just make it a big Reese's piece, just like a big Reese cup. Don't give it legs. That's the kind of shit that will haunt the nightmares of children everywhere. I was totally answering a question here, and I got distracted by Ramsey's
That's all right.
Doing the two-step in the end zone.
Because that was an awful play call.
Oh, boy. Oh, we got a flag.
Made a whole lot of no sense.
Ritter, good God. You have made the second quarter of this game just not very fun at all.
No. This has been slow and plodding. Smith is my first half MVP.
I would say he's probably mine, too. Zion Johnson, the kid you see on screen right there, number 71, I believe it is, from Boston College, he's had a great week. I think he's solidified himself as a back end of the second round kind of guy. Oh, 77. Sorry. Let's see. Alex Manjabi asked, I know you have connections in the league, so can you tell me if you've heard any mutterings about the Bolts pick? Literally every person I've talked to about the Chargers has said Jordan Davis.
It's your boy, Jeremy.
Oh, look at Trey McBride. Touchdown.
It's a McTD. It's a McTD.
God, I love him. I do love him. I love tight ends. I really do. You can take that for what you want.
Or the tight end whisperer. If anybody's paying attention during the year, if you're new here and haven't been along for the ride, yes, Jeremy is excellent at the college and the prep stuff, but also a bit of a fantasy guru. So tight end whisperer he is.
I love Trey McBride.
All he's missing is a big old mullet. He's your,
if he had a mullet. Oh, God, if he had a mullet. I do love Armchair's reactions in live time. Ritter, oh boy. Oh no. Oh no.
Get him off the field. That's it. Tell me I don't have to watch Ritter anymore.
I'm really hoping that's the end of Desmond Ritter.
What? Oh.
God, he's bad.
If you can't catch the snap, you don't belong at quarterback.
Although I will say, 13-0 lead for the New York Jets staff.
You didn't mean to.
No, it's just because the Lions staff's been so bad. Sam Howell sitting on the sideline going, I swear to God, if you draft me, I will put my nuts on your drum set.
You have a candidate in mind right now that you see as a trade-up candidate at the draft, a team that is probably going to make a move like we saw last year with the Bears. We saw with, I guess, the Giants also traded up for Tony. And
That kind of just goes into how you think this draft's going to go. All right, so just looking at my rankings, there has to be a quarterback that you fall that in love with. Because there's only a handful of things. There's only a handful of positions that you're going to trade up for in the NFL draft. All right, so you're not going to trade up for Tyler Linderbaum. You're not going to trade up for a guard. You're not trading up tight end. You're not trading up much for a receiver, and in this draft, you certainly shouldn't do it because there's so damn many of them. Nice throw right there from Sam Howell. I didn't see who caught it. Oh, that was Velus Jones Jr. Oh, boy. Look at the elusiveness.
Yeah.
Look at the elusiveness from Howell.
Yeah, it's not a great throw on the run, though.
He caught it. Khalil Shakur. That's a good throw. Oh, that's a good throw. Yeah, he didn't catch that. He certainly did not catch that. I mean, Sam, please snap it. Yeah, they gave it to him. Sam, you should be snapping this quicker because he 100% did not catch that. But there's Shakur that we talked about earlier.
Yeah. Sam's playing good in this 2-minute offense. It's not, I mean, unfortunately for him, he's not getting a ton of time to showcase here.
Oof. 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 That's not a good throw. Not a good throw at all.
No.
Sam,
early.
6 1/4, 220 pounds. Only quarterback with 3,000 passing yards and 800-plus rushing yards. Threw a touchdown pass in all 37 career games. I love Sam Howell, and it's not – look, I'm not a Carolina homer, even though I do obviously have an affinity for them. That's a good drop-off right there.
He's playing really well.
Oh, that's the Sam Houston State kid.
Uh-oh. There we go.
I've heard a decent amount. Jaquez Izzard. Or Izzard.
Breaks contain here.
Oh,
nice.
Good play by Sam. Good play by Sam. Got to get to the sideline. There you go.
And this is the difference you see in the thought process of Sam Howell versus Malik early on in the game.
Correct.
Malik was lower in the shoulder, trying to get an extra couple of yards. Sam says, "To hell with that. I'm out of bounds. I'm
Good
not getting
play.
hit."
That's a good play. I'm going to be honest with you. Sam Howell is a much faster version of what you were told Baker Mayfield is. And that's a crazy stat. 45 10-plus yard runs this season. Only one quarterback had more than him. Stands in the pocket. Steps up.
Another throw.
Dart.
Again.
That's a dart. Yeah. Got to have some. You got. There you go. You got the timeout. And what I was saying about, you would ask me about trade-ups. John DeLon said, you trade up for quarterbacks, left tackles, edge rushers, and corners. Everything else can be worked around. And that's about right. So in terms of, are there – I don't see a quarterback that anybody's going to trade up for, but somebody invariably is going to fall in love with a quarterback. That's just the way it's going to go. I would say that's more likely at the back end of the first round than it is at the beginning. Team falls in love with – and they look to Detroit. Detroit's not in love with a guy. You get the fifth-year option on a number 32 pick. I call that Lamar Jackson. Because if Baltimore hadn't traded up to get Lamar Jackson, they would be having to pay him right now. Yeah. Instead, you get the option year, and then the salary still inflates, but not to the point that it went to 23 as opposed to 35. So I would see that much more likely in terms of trade up candidates. The lineman. If somebody falls in love with like Charles Cross, Ike Ekwonu, Sauce Gardner is a guy that I'm very, very high on. I could see somebody seeing him as the only, no doubt, day one starting corner and jumping up for him. And I'll be honest with you, if somebody falls in love with Kayvon Thibodeau, I wouldn't be shocked if the two teams up in front of up at the top of this draft didn't bail for 70% of what that pick's worth.
This is my one knock on Sam Howell in this game.
Yep, holds the ball too long. And did he fumble it too? Darren Kennard falls on it. Yeah, that's not a good one from Sam. And now you're gonna have Chuck one in the end zone. Oh, or run the kicker on. Yep. Oh, got the snap off. And Snooty!
Just a bit outside.
Yep, not a good kick. All right, let me go through the questions that we've been asked. Stephen Westbrook's asked, Nakobe Dean or Will Anderson? All right, so that's a topic that I've known we had to cross at some point. Will Anderson would have been, excuse me, I'm thinking of Adam Anderson. Will Anderson is without a doubt the answer to that. Will Anderson will be the number one player in my initial mock for next year in the 2023 draft. But where I was headed with that is the first time I read that, for some reason I read it as Adam Anderson. Adam Anderson is going to be a very interesting player. So there has been a scuttlebutt around Mobile this week about Adam Anderson. If you don't know what I'm talking about, he's an outside linebacker for Georgia that didn't there's no doubt about the talent, but he was charged with sexual assault, and there have been some character issues and a lot of things. I don't discuss those because, I don't know the kid. So there has been a scuttlebutt around Mobile this week that those things are going to be either he is going to be vindicated, I guess is the word I'm looking for, or the charges are going to be dropped. Apparently, there are people that are inside of that think that there's not enough there for that to go on. And he could end up being a second-round pick. If that were to happen, I think he would end up being a late 1, early 2. I had Adam Anderson at 8 on my first big board before all that happened. Majabi said, Howell looks like a legit game management type of quarterback. This is not really Sam's forte, and this was one of my fears, is that a game like this does not necessarily fit Sam Howell's game, because a lot of what he does is more improvisational is what he does so well.
We saw that when he broke contain.
Yeah.
He broke contain and he made the scramble for the first down, got out of bounds. Really a high-level play, as opposed to I'm in the pocket, need to get it out, and I held it for way too long again.
Yeah, I mean, so this is, to me, this scenario is, and that's one of the things I wanted to see. And he did not have in the limited action he had, I will be shocked if he's not the quarterback to start the third quarter. That it wasn't overly impressive. Definitely left a lot to be desired. So, that was not a great quarter of tape for Sam Howell.
Yeah.
That being said, he's still my number one quarterback. I still believe in him more than I believe in other quarterbacks that are in this class.
Sure.
John DeLon said, I still don't get – go ahead. Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just going to say on the Adam Anderson thing, talent usually wins out in these kinds of things. So
well, I mean, I don't know if you saw the actual charges, what he was actually being accused of. It was very vile. So if he were found guilty or there's not something to, I can't think of the word
if he's convicted in any way, shape, or form, if it's proven to be true, he's done.
There has been a lot of scuttlebutt around Mobile this week that's not going to happen.
I can tell you that I'm repping a couple of things, obviously my armchair merch, but Montreal Canadiens, as a fan of losing teams, Jeremy, you can appreciate one of the worst in the NHL right now. This past draft, a player came out, Logan Mailloux, and in Europe he had circulated images of a girl he had relations with, unbeknownst to her.
The revenge porn statute.
So he was convicted of it, and he came out and he said, "Don't draft me." And then my team said, "Yeah, but you're real good at defense, so we're going to go ahead and draft you." And the vitriol was real. Now, this case is obviously far different than revenge porn, because this is, big time serious stuff. But if it comes out that there's charges being dropped, or it's just allegations, he'll get picked up. Someone will draft him.
Oh yeah, and that's
it'll be late and it'll be quiet.
Oh, it will. If the charges are, if he is found to be not guilty, or they go away in some, I'm trying to think of the word for when they discover that the charges were not real. There's a word for that, and I can't for the life of me think what that word is. It's been screwing me up for 2 solid minutes, so I'm just going to move past it. If that were the case, he would go in the beginning of the second round. Stuart West said maybe Adam Anderson could play for Andy Reid. He has a long history of taking in problem children. There are a lot of coaches that do. Andy Reid is definitely one of them. Tyreek Hill was one. Tyreek Hill had a laundry list of things that he was off the field issues that he had in college. That's how he wound up getting bounced at Oklahoma State. I don't know what happened, and we have had a long-standing tradition on this show of I don't do legal things. I'm not a lawyer. I barely understand how to use the English language, and I talk for a living. So I'm not going to try to do anyone else's job, especially when I don't have all the information. All I can tell you is that the teams have gotten their private investigators involved, and they've done their digging, and there are, we'll say, a few teams that feel pretty comfortable that Adam Anderson is going to be not only in the player pool, but he will be draftable.
Yeah.
So you can take that to mean what you want. Stuart West, first of all, name I haven't seen before. We're like an AA meeting for sports. Welcome in, Stuart. He said Andy was out of control there for a while, and that's a tenet of culture. Armchair is a New England Patriots fan. He can tell you. Bill went a little crazy with reclamation projects there for a while.
Every year.
Yeah. I mean, it was
every year. You want to see who's a reclamation project? Look at who Belichick picks up as a practice squad tryout guy in the offseason week one. And literally there were so many big name guys that he's like, Oh, Chad Johnson wants another chance? Sure, why not? Let's give Ocho a chance. I mean, and there were guys that he brought in that were, obviously he drafted Hernandez, knowing the problems that they had. I have to believe he knew about what went on in Florida. I have to believe that he knew.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, and there are things that get through. I mean, hell, you can attest to the Justin Rohrwasser thing that, he had a 3% tattoo and nobody knew.
Yeah.
Now, how that happens, I don't really know. I don't know how that one gets past you. Alex, well, he was talent, but the thing is that they cut him immediately afterward. So they actually did not know, which is shocking to me. Alex Majabi asked if I could say who those teams are that are interested in Adam Anderson. I cannot. I'll just tell you there's, in terms of the number of teams that are actively interested in him, it's more than one and it's less than 10.
Alex, sources, trust me, bro. Same as Shefty. Let's just go there.
Yeah, there
Trust
are.
me, bro.
One of the things that I have, I had to learn this the hard way because I trended one time for defending Adam Schefter. That's a day of my life I'll never get back. People always say they want to trend on Twitter. Do it one time and then tell me if you want to do it because you almost invariably will never trend for something good. I've done it 4 times. 3 times regionally, and once I actually got attached to a now trending thing. The first 3 were mildly inconvenient. The 4th one was a fucking nightmare.
People are always asking about getting trending. And I could tell you, dealing with some people who started a certain Twitter trend this year, it's not always fun. In fact, usually isn't. Not even a little bit. I had notifications on. It was the day the Adam Schefter thing came out about the Washington football team. And I got into it with somebody that used to work for Deadspin, of which if you're not, my age or older, you probably don't know what the fuck Deadspin is because it's an irrelevant sports website at this point. But I went at somebody that used to work for Deadspin, and I was like, because he had, what I said was, yeah, sometimes you have to show a source to get the information. At the end of the day, you have to get the information. How you get the information is totally up to you. And he was being tongue-in-cheek, and everybody knew it. And it was that day that I learned there are a series of people, and most of them have blue check marks, that don't know what a fucking joke is. I was getting, quote, retweeted 5,000 times a minute. Wasn't a good day because I still had notifications on. Deadspin of the breaking Manti Te'o doesn't have a real girlfriend fame.
That's oddly enough, that's the guy. The guy that broke that story is the one I got into it with. And I had all these stupid blue check marks that are like, you don't know who he is. You're blah. And my answer every freaking time was the same. I do this for a living, and I don't know who he is. What does that tell you? That he's not relevant. And hasn't been in some time. Let's see. I'm going to try to catch up on the comments here and see if make sure I get everybody's in. Tyler Cunningham said that was a second sack and fumble on Howell. Yeah, it was not a great quarter for him. Stephen Westbrooks, do you see the Jags taking Evan Neal for sure, or will they go for Kayvon Thibodeau, Aiden Hutchinson? Here's what I can tell you on that. The narrative this week has been that there are a lot of teams that are not as sold on Thibodeau and Hutchinson being top 3 picks. There is only one reason that information would come out. That's if it's being floated by people in the organization of top 3 teams. Now, that could be trying to drive up trade value. It could be a smokescreen. It could be a lot of things. It's been said to me by a bunch of people this week. And I had heard it on Thibodeau anyway. Hutchinson was just viewed to be very safe. Well, now there's apparently some people that don't believe that either. Curtis Davis said, I can't wait for EA to come out with new NCAA games in their dynasty modes to have to take into account NILs and school budgets to recruit fictional people. Fantastic. I loved NCAA football's dynasty mode.
It was the best.
Oh, so good.
I would take I would always go. So of course I'm up in Canada, so I wouldn't go for like Alabama or Georgia or
Did you go Temple
Ohio State
or
Michigan.
Buffalo?
No. Colorado, Buffaloes.
Indeed.
Just take someone out of the like way out of the blue and just be like, I'm going to make you guys a top national program.
I would do that with when you could do created programs. That was tremendous.
Yeah.
Or I would do it with some program you've never heard of. Florida A&M. I remember a fun dynasty that I did with Florida A&M, and I was just killing people. If you've watched this show for any period of time, you know that I'm pretty good at Madden. Pretty good. If you ever want to play for a grand, let's talk. I was actually better at NCAA football than I ever was at Madden. I could run the triple option and make you want to break everything in your house. I liked the option. John DeLon said, I wouldn't bet my life that the new NCAA game is going to be good because the EA has screwed up Madden so much the last 10 years. You're not wrong. Has Jermaine Johnson played today? He has, but it's been very limited.
Just saw Shad Khan on TV.
Oh, the greatest mustache in all of. He looks like what was it Wario?
Yeah,
that was Mario. That was evil Mario.
He looks like he wants me to go to a circus.
Shad Khan looks like he should be sitting in a very large leather chair at the end of a very long table, petting a cat, talking about how much money he wants from the government to not blow something up. That was a very elaborate simile.
New challenge for the halftime comments. What does Shad Khan look like?
Totally. Give me an analogy of what Shad Khan looks like. Stephen Tao said Eric DeCosta said they want 2 offensive linemen, and they will not be adding Antonio Brown. That doesn't surprise me in the least. Stuart West said shame Traylon Burks isn't in the Senior Bowl. I agree. I love him. Majabi asked, weren't there character issues with Micah Parsons? Yes, there were. Very large ones, actually. And to be really honest with you, and this is the only way I can ever say this, they didn't go away. It's not like there was ever a resolution to that. It was just something that went around, and it was never resolved.
The NFL's real good at that, though. The NFL is really good at going, hey, I know there's character issues, but hey, look over here. This guy's getting sacks.
Yeah, and that does happen. Let's see. I lost my place in the comments. Stuart West, in that huge defensive lineman from Connecticut, only cut out for the 3-4. Could he be useful in 4-3? You're talking about Travis Jones, who is here this week and has had a tremendous week and is playing for the national team. He's number 57. You'll see that ugly-ass Connecticut helmet. I think he can play in both. I think he's better suited to be a nose tackle, and he's going to go high. Travis Jones is a guy that could go in the back end of the first round, and it wouldn't shock me because there are so few nose tackles in this draft. I'm not going to say he couldn't play in a 4-3. A 3-4 team is going to overdraft him most likely.
We've got some excellent answers to the Shad Khan. Obviously, Wario, Waluigi, both from Toe. We've got Shad Khan looks like he rides an elephant to team workouts. Khan looks like he's the Sheik of poor decisions. That might be my favorite one for Roy. Shad Khan, the rich Ron Jeremy. Also a winner.
Yeah, keep firing. What does Shad Khan look like in the comments? Patrick West asked, do you have a prediction for the number 1 pick? Yes, the number 1 pick, I believe, will be Evan Neal to the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, during halftime, I resolved that, the time that we would be the most needed would be while there was no action during the game. So I'm going to sneak out that door again for about 2 minutes for nicotine, because if I don't have that every 45 minutes, I get very angry. Ooh, Romeo Dubs back to return a kick.
All right, well, Jeremy's had a note. We've got Dicker Kicker. It's a great last name for a kicker. Kicking off the second half, where hopefully we'll get a little more offense. Tyler, I'll let Jeremy answer the Kayvon Thibodeau bad attitude question. So we get a touchback. John saying, I always imagine Shad Khan going through his auto parts warehouse looking for a part to fix the Jag. You're probably not wrong. And Mobby, you might be right. There's a lot of that kind of feel going around, and I think that there's probably more reluctance at this point to draft someone solely based on talent. We've seen it pan out too many times where guy's super talented, super athletic, but just doesn't have the drive to be like a true pro. And those guys tend to get missed now versus when, a couple of years ago it would be, I can fix them. And, nobody wants to fix. A nice little check down there. Yeah, I've fully taken over the show, Joiner. I kicked Jeremy out. No, he's out for a heater. He'll be back in a second. Dan Snyder's a really interesting story. I personally am not a fan of Snyder as an owner anywhere, but we'll see what's happening. I think ultimately it comes down to can they prove anything without a shadow of a doubt. Shad Khan equals one of the bad guys from the Pirates of the Caribbean. That's very apt, Stuart.
Oh.
We got, oh, wow. That's a nice little elusive move there.
Whoop. A nice little recovery there from Bo Melton out of Rutgers. Oh, Carson Strong in the game. I didn't notice that at first. Carson Strong's a kid that I think you're going to hear a lot of talk about in the pre-draft process. There is a wide variety of takes on him. I like the kid personally. He's another one I've been looking forward to seeing in this game.
Jeremy Tyler Cunningham asked in the comments, heard Kayvon Thibodeau has a bad attitude.
There's been a he's had that reputation for a while. Take plays off, disappear for a while. I'm afraid that there's going to be Thibodeau's going to go high because he's simply put, he's the most talented player in the draft, and it's not really all that close.
Yeah,
but his good is very, very good, and his bad is irrelevant. Oh. Mullet's out for Jordan Stout.
Out for Stout.
I want that to be, if he gets drafted, I want that to become a thing.
It's got to be a thing. I am going to duck out for a quick second while Jeremy takes over and gets all your questions.
And indeed.
2 minutes.
Great punt there by Jordan Stout. I'd like to think I played a role in that with the Mullets out for Jordan Stout. Alex Majabi asks, what do you think will happen to Daniel Snyder? Absolutely nothing. He controls what comes out of that. If he doesn't want it out, it's not going to get out. So, I mean, if we've learned one thing with the government over the last few years, they're very good at hiding things that protect very wealthy people. So I would say nothing probably comes of that. As soon as I saw the report that he controls the narrative of what comes out, well, that's irrelevant. Glad you wasted all that money on nothing. Stuart West said Shad Khan's one of the bad guys from Pirates of the Caribbean. I would agree with that. Oh, John DeLon taking a Albert Hainsworth shot at Daniel Snyder. Oh, it's the pizza of all pizzas. The Spicy Lovers Pizza. You know what? I'm getting one of those on the way home. Where the hell's there at Pizza Hut? My wife got the first one. Pizza Hut, you have succeeded in getting me. Oh, there's one right down the street. That's happening. That's 100% going to happen. Spicy Lovers Pizza for dinner at my house this evening. Would it be, all right, I want to hear your opinions on this. Would it be insanely lazy of me, knowing there is a Pizza Hut right down the street, to get them to deliver me a pizza that I would then take home? Is that insanely lazy? Or brilliant? Could also be brilliant. Majabi asked, how do I feel about head coach of the, he is the head coach of the national team, Deuce Staley. I've always thought that he's at some point going to get a chance. Not necessarily, not as a head coach off the jump. He will be somebody's offensive coordinator at some point. I feel very sure of that. But I'm glad he's getting the chance in this game. He's always been well respected and very well liked. Stuart West said, I like highlights from Carson Strong. Some are knocking him because he's not very mobile. He's not mobile at all, but he's got a very good arm. To me, he's what Jordan Love was sold to be. Majabi asked, who will be on the draft live stream with us this year? We have a lot of things planned for the draft this year. Goal is to be in Vegas. I'm getting less and less sure that that's going to happen, though, which is unfortunate.
Boo.
Stephen Tao said it's cold. Armchair, I asked a question in the comments. So they showed that Spicy Lovers Pizza again, the commercial that they keep showing just to ensure that I'm going to get a Pizza Hut in the next few days.
Pizza. Yeah.
Oh, there's one down the street. And I asked in the comments, would it be lazy to have Pizza Hut deliver that pizza here for me to then take it home? Is that lazy or brilliant?
No, it's brilliant.
Basically, the tenet of the chat has been, yes, it's lazy, but it's also brilliant.
Work smarter, not harder.
So it appears that I will be doing that right after this game is over.
If they didn't want us to do delivery, they shouldn't have delivery service.
It's true. And the one down the road, it's very bold on the website. And they have a delivery deal as I'm sitting here looking at it. That's probably how that's going to go.
They're literally encouraging you to get it delivered.
God, that pizza's so good.
Hoffman's got a point. They could deliver it to your house, so it's there when you get there.
So my house is actually out of the delivery range of that Pizza Hut. And I don't know that there's another one. Oh, let's look at that. I had not thought of that. There is one. There's one that's reasonably close to me.
Got our first super chat of the day.
Oh, we have one of those. It's Karen Penland, her and Bo watching us do
I'm your huckleberry.
Senior Bowl things. She said, "Hell yes, it's brilliant." I'm kind of starting to think it is pretty brilliant.
Listen, if they didn't want you to get delivery, they wouldn't have invented Uber Eats.
John DeLon said, just don't be the guy that stiffs the driver because you're just down the street. I'm going to tell you something about me that shouldn't surprise you at all. I tip very well, especially when it's something that keeps me from being lazy. Bad decision right there by Sam Howell. Stop short, 4th down. Nice play by Perrion Winfrey. He has also had a very good week this week. It's one of the tenets of life that I live by. Tip people that take care of you. And tip them aggressively. Because they're not paid shit. Good God. That thing went 400 miles high. We're going to have a penalty on the play. Nice punt by that's not quite a mullet. I don't really know. I don't know what you would call that.
It's a fullet.
It's the Jake Carmada. It's something. I don't quite know what it is. Stuart West says Tyler Batty played much today. I haven't seen him hardly at all. I would wager you're going to see him more in the second half. There's another guy that had a good week, from what I have been told and seen. He's not somebody I'm wild about, but there are others that are. John DeLon said, I prefer to think of it as you should tip well to the people who handle your food or beer or basically anything you put in your mouth.
Also correct.
Majabi asked, who's your Final Four for March Madness? Gonzaga is very, very good. Baylor is very, very good. Auburn has a top 5 player and they just locked Bruce Pearl up till, the end of time. Duke's the most talented team I've seen. Got them taking on Carolina tonight.
Do you know who's not going to be in the Final Four? My poor Butler Dogs.
Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking about that before we were going to do this. Is that you jumped on with Butler and they went to shit.
I jumped on with Butler because I am a whore for swag.
Yes.
So to be fair, there's a reason. I mean, they lost to St. John's. It wasn't a huge upset. They've just got nothing going for them. They've had a couple of big upsets, though, this year.
My Florida State Seminoles just got beat again by the sexiest coach in North America. Have we ever told you that story?
No.
So, obviously, we're in North Carolina. All right, so there are two predominant lower-tier conferences here. UNCA is in the Big South. And we do UNCA. I mean, I don't do them, but Tank does UNCA games. So obviously, we have a vested interest in the Big South. The other one is the Southern Conference, which does their tournament here in Asheville. So we will actually be live from that tournament. Ingles, our biggest sponsor, also sponsors them. And so we'll do a live show from there. And over the course of our travels, we met a man named Steve Forbes, who was the head coach at East Tennessee State University. Well, he is now the head coach at Wake Forest and has done a phenomenal job with Wake. But at one point, some blog or some shit did a poll on who is the sexiest coach in North America. East Tennessee students filled ballot boxes, and he won. Well, he's still a friend, and his signature line of emails, underneath his name, it says sexiest coach in North America.
I feel like you have to own that, though.
Steve's my size. There is not one hair on his entire head. He's a big dude. He was actually the lead assistant under Bruce Pearl at Tennessee.
Okay.
He's an awesome guy. He's my favorite coach that we have ever met. And we've met some incredibly cool coaches. But so, yeah, that's why we always call him the sexiest coach in America.
Reese's? that this Reese guy has? Well, the size of that package.
It's the creepy Reese's. It's the creepy Reese's cup again. Why does he have a Mr. Hanky face? I don't like that.
I don't know.
He has Mr. Hanky's face. That's weird.
Over under, how many Reese's can Kenny Pickett hold in those hands?
1.5.
I'll take the under.
I'll guarantee you he bites them in half. He doesn't eat them but one bite. Everybody knows the rules.
Oh, nice throw and picked off.
Oh, Carson Strong doing Carson Strongy things.
Yeah. Taylor with the pick.
Oh, that's a good play. That was a good play. The ball was underthrown.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was really well read. This is the difference between what we saw with Bryant earlier, getting handsy on an underthrown ball, versus turning around, getting your head around on it, making a proper play on the ball, and saying, I've got the right position here. I'm going to take this.
Alontae Taylor is a guy that there are plenty of people that are really fond of him. I think he's a beginning of day 3 kind of guy. That play right there certainly helped. That's a good play to put on tape. Carson Strong, though, he had him beat. He had him beat. He just
underthrew it.
Whew, he got turned around. That's when people talk about his hips aren't fluid, that's exactly what they're talking about. Because that's one of those that the ends will justify the means. People go, oh, it was a great play. Well, it was good. It ended well.
Turn on my extra light because it's starting to get dark here in Canada.
Starting to get dark there? It's only 4:30 here. Oh, Sam Howell takes off and runs again. Am I the only one starting to think Sam Howell's day has looked strikingly like Desmond Ritter's?
There has not been a quarterback that's really been standout.
Oh, Malik Willis has been the best quarterback in this game by a lot.
That's not saying much.
Kind of why I said it.
Yeah. Nice downhill run. I find it odd that we're seeing a ton of running back play.
Oh, yeah.
Given the league has gone to a pass-happy league, we're seeing all the running backs in the showcase.
Well, I mean, and that happens a lot in these. That's not as off the board as people think. Especially with it's easier. You get 4 days to install everything because they didn't even practice yesterday.
Yeah.
TJ Pledger, the only running back for Utah that did not have a great game in the Rose Bowl.
Saw a rare fullback run. Connor Hayward. How many teams in the NFL are still using fullbacks?
Not many.
It's at least 2. Belichick uses them and Shanahan uses them.
Connor Hayward, the great family legacy. That is Cameron Hayward's little brother. And Sam Howell just shows that's a thing he does.
Yeah.
That's a thing he can do. Oh, because, he's dead to rights right there. Yeah, Giselle Sanders had him dead to rights. Alex Majabi asked, who's your least favorite college football NFL players that you've met? You have an answer to that one?
I don't know if I've actually met any NFL players.
I've met a lot.
I've talked to one college offensive lineman when I did my morning show on a different app, and he was a bit of a goof, but he wasn't a bad guy. I have no issue with him. I don't even remember his name. He's not drafted this year, so.
I know we've met a lot. and I would genuinely say the list of ones that I've really liked are much. Oh, hey, that's, you know what? The Senior Bowl, they knew. There's my answer. That's the most unlikable human I've ever been in the same room with. Mr. Cameron Newton. And he never even looked at me.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, he was not super pleasant. But the best, oh God, who was the best? When we first started this, our third co-host was Nay Brown, who played with the Eagles in the early 2000s with T.O. And I love him to death. I still love him, even though, you know, he moved away and doesn't do the show with us anymore. He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Julius Peppers Julius Peppers was actually a camp counselor of mine when I was younger.
Nice.
Carolina basketball camp. Also has the record for the greatest dunk I've ever seen.
That's impressive.
Yeah, he's a very impressive looking human because he is a gigantic person. Chad Moma. We have a Chad Moma sighting. God, I like that kid. Stuart West said, I'm so old, the college and NFL players I've met are in that gridiron in the sky. I got a few of those, too.
Starting to see Sam Howell finally get
settle
rid of
in.
the ball on
He's
time.
finally starting to settle in. That was a good decision.
Yeah.
And that one was to Pledger as well. You got to give the Lions staff credit here for letting Howell come back in the game. Didn't get a lot of play, and you let him come back in to lead this drive. This has been an impressive drive. I mean, yeah, he's taken off and run a lot, but Majabi said, I interned for a sports company in L.A., and everyone mentioned Cam Newton as the biggest asshole. I'm going to be really honest with you. Damn near every person that works in media will all tell you he's the biggest asshole. Whether he's done anything directly to us or not does not matter. Because if he hadn't done it to you, he's done it to somebody you know. Him and Kelvin Benjamin. Oh, Kelvin Benjamin was the worst.
Didn't Kelvin Benjamin retire in the middle of a game?
No, Kelvin Benjamin got booted out of practice because he was too fat, and they cut him. There was also something else with him. He had said something, and they found out about it and booted him.
Howell with the bootleg again.
That's a good decision. That play was shat upon from the jump.
That was a much better decision than the last two sacks that he's given up, I guess.
That play was shat upon from very early.
And we get some ref ball.
I didn't talk about the officials much today.
No, they've been pretty good.
Oh, defensive holding. Oh, personal foul. Face mask.
I guess you can't grab someone to the face. That's frowned upon.
Not allowed to grab him by the face hole.
No, can't do that.
Be nice to see the American team get in the end zone here. Face mask there on. Oh, it was Boya Mafe. Curtis Davis said Vontae Davis retired at halftime against the Chargers. I remember that well. They went in at the half, and he just went, fuck this. Dameon Pierce, man, he's been quiet today.
Yeah, he has.
Had a great week. Had a great week, but it's not been a productive day for him.
It hasn't been productive for a lot of the guys on the American side. Sam Howell with that bootleg. There we go. There we go, Jeremy. There we go.
Oh, is Sam Howell on the board? I'll know in about 4 seconds. Swoop. And, look at the block down the field. I love seeing receivers block. Love seeing a willing blocker.
That's a bad snap.
That happens a lot. It happened to the national team on the last drive. kid from Chattanooga. I want to see who this receiver is. Great grab there by Howell. I don't know who that was on the outside. Oh, there's a reason, because that's not a receiver. That is not a receiver. Isaiah Likely. Who's shocked? Gotta love him. He's a late day 2, early day 3 tight end. The problem for him is that he's just not the physical specimen that you will see several tight ends in this class.
Like McBride.
He's so good. Ask him to hold Kenny Pickett up on the microphone. Ask him to hold the microphone.
God, his hands are small.
Just little tiny hands.
Why don't you just own it? Like, what's he afraid is going to happen? He's already a meme.
Oh, he's owned it pretty well. He said this week that he was going to do some hand stretching drills before he.
Of course, yes, yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is that you wanted to get this Senior Bowl tape out. Oh, and I don't think I pointed this out. They don't. You just get the ball at the 25. So.
Yeah.
Did this pan down the dick pick? Actually, wouldn't that be Pick's dick?
It will be a pick dick pick.
Yeah, that would be a pick dick pick. Greg Watt, we're like an AA meeting for sports. We appreciate the kind words. Heard Brian Robinson had a pretty good week. What round do you think he may go in? I would say, and I'm gonna cheat a little bit here and pull up my running back rankings because I have not had the time this week to go back with the practices mean more than the games. So what we've seen through the practices, I've got a list of guys that I would say Breece Hall probably goes in the beginning of the second round. Kenneth Walker's probably in the middle second round. Isaiah Spiller's going to be somewhere in there. Brian Robinson's probably the next one to go at the beginning of the third round. If I had to make a bet right now, he's had a good week. He might have pushed into the back of the second round. Just depends if he's gotten in front of any of the guys I said. But Greg, we appreciate you joining us for our Senior Bowl coverage. Oh, good hell! Get me a roller.
Still frame of Kenny Pickett's hand.
I do think it's funny that I was the first person I've ever heard talk about how small his hands were, and it's been the story of Senior Week. I hadn't heard anybody say that before me. And the funny thing is, it's usually not things like that I get that I get the jump on.
Ferguson with a nice catch from another toss where Seymour's strong, but there is flag on the play.
Ferguson would have been a top 5 tight end in a lot of classes, just not this year.
That might help him out.
I am stunned that is the first one of those we've seen in this game. Those little procedural, pithy bullshit calls like that, they tend to go through the roof in games like this.
Ask who's the best prospect you've ever graded coming out of college?
Oh, I'd probably give you one at every position. The best quarterback I've ever graded coming out, Andrew Luck and Trevor Lawrence had the same grade. The best running back I've ever evaluated was probably Saquon Barkley on sheer talent. I'm trying to think if there was one better than that. The number one prospect I've ever had, the highest grade I've ever given, if that's what you're asking me, was Khalil Mack.
They're showing the little Kenny Pickett fake slide.
Dirt!
That set the world ablaze earlier.
That's to me, that was brilliant.
also known as you're going to get murdered next play.
Yes, because we're not going to fall for that again.
Sometimes it's all right to take a penalty. That's all I'm saying. Like, sometimes you just got to, like, maybe impose your will a little bit. I know we're not supposed to, I don't want to see anybody get hurt, but if you're going to pretend to slide, I'm not going to pretend to not hit you.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know Mobile's born to celebrate sports? 'Cause I do.
I've been to Mobile, and it's a city. That's what I
Listen, you just have to go around playing the fight song all day. You'll be fine. Roll Tide!
Oh, you mean that one?
That's the one.
Did you mean that one, or did you mean the official fight song of Mobile, Alabama? Jonathan Welch sent me a thing earlier that said, I can't remember who the first person was. It was talking about how you write versus how you speak. And it was some very prim and proper person on the left side. I can't remember now who it was. Yeah. And that was talking about writing. And on the right side, it was when I go to speak, and it was Joe Exotic. But yeah, to answer Majabi's question, the highest quarterback I've ever had was a tie between Andrew Luck and Trevor Lawrence. The highest, I'm going to verify this. The good thing is that I keep very elaborate notes.
The Andrew Luck story is fascinating to me.
Well, just that he tapped out?
Well, so I remember when Tiki Barber retired, and I thought, that's dumb. You got like another 3 or 4 years of good playing time ahead of you. Your team is rounding out. You're going to be okay. I don't know why you wouldn't just do it. And he's like, I want to be healthy. I want to be, hang out with my kids. I've got plenty of money, so I don't really care. And I think he ended up with he had an analyst job for a while. I don't know if he's still doing it or not.
He did. Now he's doing A or some shit.
Yeah. Andrew Luck obviously didn't make billions or anything, but he made a good amount of money. I feel like he just got hit too many times, and after a couple of injuries, he was like, "This is stupid."
He got his poor brains knocked out. Julio Jones is the highest receiver I've ever graded.
It's just fascinating because I didn't think we would see a mass exodus at a 5 or 6 or 7 year mark. But
poor Luck just got screwed. I mean, and I'll be honest with you, that's why there's been so much vitriol from me about the Doug Peterson hire. Carson Wentz regressed every year he was there. And so now you're going to entrust this kid, Trevor Lawrence, to him when you could have done this with Byron Leftwich. Of which, do I know that the Byron thing would have worked? No. But it would have energized the fan base. The fan base, trust me, we have a lot of people that like the Jaguars that watch this channel. Do you know what they, in large part, thought of the Doug Peterson hire? Hey, I've seen us do this before.
Yeah. I firmly stand by the fact that I believe that Carson Wentz had the football beat out of him when he got hurt.
That's entirely possible.
It's hard to come back from. He has not looked the same, and, he doesn't have enough brains to walk away. I don't know who number 7 is on the American team, but that was a hell of a defensive pressure.
That would be Sam Williams from Ole Miss.
That was he broke through no problem, forcing to the outside, had to check down. It was that's kind of the stuff that I look for when I'm looking at building my own team. That'd be a guy I want to see.
Oh, and a good coverage there by Channing Tindall. He's had a good day. That punt is going to be the coverage on that punt is going to be something that's talked about with him for a long time. Kelvin Joyner asked, who's a guy that should have come out a year ago and ruined their draft stock? Brock Purdy is the first name that came to my mind. Because this year was so set up for them to be so good. Let's see. 21. Oh, no,
While you're looking for that, John said maybe the plan is to trade Trevor. And Mojave says, when Doug Peterson fails, send Joe Brady to the Jags. Gotta love some Joe Brady love.
Purdy would be the first thought I had with somebody that should have come out. Then I always go to running backs. The thing about running backs, if I have a draftable grade, I'm not coming back under any circumstances.
What a run.
Another good play by Fledger there.
Yeah.
Kid that should have come out last year. I know there's an answer to this. It's a question of who is the answer.
It's like a catch from Velas Jones Jr. Finally a play downfield.
I just went to the bottom of my rankings. Oof. Jackson Kirkland. That's actually the answer, and he's now he won't even be in this draft anyway. Jackson Kirkland, had he come out last year, would probably have been a top 5 pick. He came back this year, got hurt, was not good. He's an offensive lineman from Washington, and now it's gone from he's a left tackle of the future to, well, he might play guard. And now he's coming back to Washington coming off an injury because the injury was worse than previously thought. Oh, Bailey Zapp. Before anybody says it's Zappy, didn't spell it that way. Zappy would be Zappy.
I'd also accept IE.
That would also work. As reference, as obvious from Tyler Batty.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's not a good play. No.
I'm at third quarter, minute 05 to go, second 10. Coming from the 13-yard line, Bailey Zapp in at quarterback. That is a wonderful play by Boya Mafe. I'm telling you, Boya Mafe's had a fucking day.
Yeah, he has.
He has had a day. He was in my notes to talk about yesterday in the preview to this. And I forgot. Oh, you know what I just thought about?
Toe's asking the question that I was thinking myself. Who came out too soon when they should have went back to school?
I just thought of something. We're going to have to cut this short in 5 minutes.
Ruh-roh.
I think. Although that might be in satellite.
Zapp completely destroyed.
Guess who?
74 on defense. Sorry, 34. 34 on defense.
Boya Mafe.
Say his name again. I think Maffe's probably had one of the better defensive performances today.
He's had the best day of anyone that I've seen.
Smith is probably number 2. And then we're going to Mullet's out for Stout for 3.
Oh no, that's there's no mullet on this kid.
No, there isn't. Let him kick the field goal.
Stephen Tao asked counter question: who came out too soon when they should have come back to school? Are you talking about this year or last year? Because I can give you a slew of guys that shouldn't have come out this year.
I think he's talking about this draft.
In this draft, if I was Nicholas Petit-Ferrer, I would have come back. That was the first one that came to my mind. The offensive tackle from the Ohio State University. Other than that, I'm going by position here. A couple juniors came out that, like Caleb Ellaby could have gone back to school, and I think he should have. Caleb Ellaby could have been a Kenny Pickett of next year if he had come back to school. I never ding a running back as long as they're going to get drafted. One that should have come back to school. I'm trying to find one for every position.
Oh, Greg, a man after my own heart here, Jeremy. Son's a huge Pats fan. They definitely need to add some weapons for McCorkle. You take a stab at some possibilities the Pats may take on the offensive side.
Absolutely. I would have said Drake London before the intel I got this week, which definitively tells me he won't be there. He fits kind of what they're looking for. You're set at tight end. You know, I know the Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry thing didn't go as well this year as you would have liked, but you're set there. In terms of weapons, good at running back. So basically you're asking me about receiver. Who are receivers that I would really like? I would like Jameson Williams, the receiver out of Alabama, if you decide to do it in the first round. Olave fits quite nicely what they try to do. Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State. Those are all first-round guys. Treylon Burks is another first-round guy that I would like there. As you get later in the draft, I look at a guy like George Pickens that could play on the outside and be what you were always sold that N'Keal Harry was going to be. Jalen Tolbert. I infinitely believe in what Bill could do with a deep threat like that. That's a kid that's in this game. He hasn't done much today, but 6'3", 195-pound receiver out of South Alabama. He's a burner. So there's a lot to be said about that. And then
with a nice soft coverage catch there, by the way.
And Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce is a receiver out of Cincinnati that's got the body build, the frame, the ability to run routes, all of the things that you would look for in a receiver to play in New England. I appreciate the question, Greg.
John DeLune asked, doesn't Belichick have a fairly long history of taking offensive skill guys in later rounds?
He does.
And he misses on most of them. We took N'Keal Harry and could have had DK, but sure.
Well, we're going to know in 10 seconds if I end up going out over the air. So if I do, I'm going to have to very quickly mute everything and fix it whilst the stream's still running. It's still in satellite.
All right. Was a real soft coverage for Trey Turner. Just kind of sat down in the middle of that play. Zapp wasn't going to miss it. If he did, it would be game over there. So Tyler Cunningham mentions Abraham Smith looking like a top 5 running back right now. He's definitely improved, I think, his positioning on many people's draft boards today.
He's had a good day
Jeremy,
for sure.
They're talking about your needs for the Jets.
Everything? We need everything.
No, they only have corner, wide receiver, safety, but they're missing everything else.
Offensive, we need a guard. We need another edge rusher. We need another linebacker.
We good?
I'm checking.
Okay. Zapp under center as we get the 4th underway. And a little trickeration.
Against the Baylor Bears. Round to a kid show.
It went absolutely nowhere. Sorry, guys. We're just trying to make sure that we don't accidentally go out over the air.
Yeah, the Carolina pregame starts at 5. Started at 5.
That's why we're kind of taking little dribs and drabs of silence so that Jeremy can hear and make sure that we're not violating the FCC rules. Dump off to Pierce, gets a couple back. Well, Hobby wants to know if you've heard anything else about Rodgers or Wilson's landing spots if they move. I don't think Rodgers is going anywhere.
His teammates do. Apparently, the vast majority of Packers think Aaron Rodgers is going somewhere. Don't know that I believe that, but
I still think that you're bang on with your just walk away.
Russell Wilson, on the other hand, I think he wants to move and doesn't have the ability.
Oh, that's a big boy. Winfrey just ate up Zap.
Great play by Perry and Winfrey. Great play by Perry and Winfrey out there. The kids had a phenomenal week.
Perry and Winfrey in this game, 2 sacks already.
Stand by. Just had to make sure that wasn't playing over the terrestrial signal.
Hey, great success. Apparently, I looked like a little hamster because I was eating my popcorn. I will tell you this. It's like cheddar and chive, like popcorn.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Shit's delicious.
I'm not a fan of popcorn. I don't really like popcorn. Now, I like prepackaged popcorn because it's not so crispy.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Tyler Cunningham said Rashad White, Damian Pierce, and Tyler Batty are all better than Brian Robinson. You're not the only person that thinks that. I've never really seen it with Batty. I don't I don't quite understand I've seen good, but I haven't seen great. Have they gone back to Ritter?
It looks like they went back to Ritter.
That's the best throw I've ever seen him make. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, that's the best throw I've ever seen him make.
Doesn't hurt that it was to Ferguson, who's got fantastic hands and made him look good.
He does.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow usually doesn't mean...
You'll see. You'll see. When you get there, you'll see. Just...
Yep, it's a nice run from Rashad White. And nicely timed with Tyler Cunningham's comment about him.
Yeah. We're starting to see the
that was well
line
blocked.
Wear down. Yeah,
that was very well blocked.
Really well blocked.
Oh, with the leap. Got the hurdle. Greg Watt asked in the comments, Saban called Will Anderson an and player. He can do this and this. What current or past player would you compare him to? The comp to me is, once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. It's Derek Thomas. He reminds me of Derek Thomas a lot, and that's a Ferguson touchdown.
Yep. Big Fergie with the touchdown.
Hey, this will be only the 5th game I've ever seen Rob Salah win.
Well, he's got to do it somewhere, right?
The funny thing, this will be the 2nd time that Ron Middleton was the sitting coach when we Rob Salah 3 wins, Ron Middleton 2. One was in a Senior Bowl. I get that. Wow, that was just complete sellout.
Yeah, it was.
Ferguson's had a good day. He will certainly be. I'm going to do a review of the Senior Bowl at some point tomorrow.
I'd be interested to see if you do a redraft post Senior Bowl with some guys moving, biggest movers.
Oh, I'm putting out the 7-round mock next week. I put a pin in it because we had some issues week before last that delayed things.
Yeah. Oh, here's the spicy pizza again.
Oh, it's so good. I'm getting a cat commercial.
You're getting 2 of these, aren't you?
Probably. I probably am. Oh, there's the good stuff. Daryl from The Office with the spicy the spicy marinara red chilies Pizza Hut pizza. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
No one. It's in their name.
Majabi asks, will Nolan Smith be a first-rounder next year? I would say so, yes. Kelvin Joyner asked, who's helped themselves the most? Today, I would say it's Boye Mafe, and it's not even kind of close. Of which he was a guy that was climbing anyway. He almost made the Chase Claypool list. The ironic thing is he didn't make it because of Amari Barno, who I have not heard anything from today.
Yeah.
Tyler Cunningham answered Abram Smith. He's definitely up there.
He's made some moves. I'll tell you what, in a game where we haven't seen a ton of offense, he's definitely showed flashes where you're like, well, okay, maybe.
And I mean, this is a game that's gone exactly how these games usually go. This has looked exactly how this usually looks. And now I get to take all of this information and select 256 players in a 7-round mock draft.
Bobby said Jermaine Johnson's making him sad today.
Yeah, he hasn't been the impact that I was expecting.
No,
I don't think we've called his name one time.
we haven't. He hasn't made any kind of notable
And that
moves.
kind of lends itself to what he has been at times. There are times that he will take over a game, and there will be times that you forget he's on the field.
Ferguson's a big guy.
He is
God,
a
he's
big guy. Curious to see where I had him among tight ends. Yeah, that's probably where he should stay.
Proves ineffective here, would you go back to Malik?
Oh,
Give him
Malik's
another
done.
opportunity?
Yeah, Bailey Zapp will finish this game for the American team.
It's too bad.
Yeah, you're not getting. I would be very surprised if you saw either of the other two quarterbacks. The only reason you saw Ritter again is because he was so bad.
Yeah,
And I wouldn't be shocked if he asked to go back in. Which Sam could theoretically do. He is that kind of kid. And Brian Robinson with another uninspiring run.
and wow. Okay.
Bailey Zapp out of the pocket and gets killed.
And he's dead.
That would
He died.
be a. Oh no, that's not who I thought it was. That is Jesse Lakita from Penn State.
He died.
That's a nice raw power move right there from Lakita.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I felt very sure that at some point today I would be talking about a.
Holy smokes.
I thought I would be talking about a Penn State lineman today. I just thought it would be Arnold Ibakite. Zapp drops back on 3rd and a trillion and dies again.
So does everybody else. This line just got bullied.
Yeah, this was not I guess it was Travis Jones. Somebody asked me earlier about Travis Jones. Yeah, there he was. And this is exactly what he does, too.
He didn't even get off his block. He just
drove Dylan Parham right into his lap.
If you're not going to let me go, I'll just use you.
Travis Jones is a kid. When I did the first set of mock drafts, he was the Rams' first pick.
Wow.
Kelvin Joyner asked, I know kickers aren't people, but do any get drafted this year? There's almost always one. And if there was one this year, I would say it's probably Nick Seba out of Wake Forest. There's a couple
Greg
others.
Asked,
Cameron Dicker, who is in this game, out of Texas.
great name for a kicker.
It is. Other than that, I would be shocked if one, local guy, Chandler Staten out of Appalachian State, he would be reasonably high. But I would say if one gets drafted, I would say it would be Nick Seba.
Greg's curious what your thoughts are about the freshman tight end at Georgia. Kid's the real deal.
He's going to be a top 10 pick. He will eventually be a top 10 pick. Brock Bowers is probably he's certainly the best freshman tight end I've ever seen. He may be the best tight end I've ever seen, and that was in 1 year. He's got 2 more years before he even could come out. He is unbelievable. Majabi said that punters might go, not kickers. I guess I should put those together. Matt Areza will go from San Diego State. And I believe based on where he was already sitting and this game, I would say Jordan Stout probably does too. Stuart West said Zapp's getting well zapped. And there was a fear that was going to happen. He put up 1 billion yards at Western Kentucky. Only problem, it was at Western Kentucky. Yeah, he hasn't done himself any favors here today.
No.
Up over
Hoffman
1,500 playbacks for this video. That's always.
Hoffman saying that Bengals will beg to differ on kickers aren't people. just because you've got probably my favorite kicker.
That's probably my favorite drafted kicker I've ever. Well, he would be 2, and 1 did not go so well.
I love what he said before they went to the AFC Championship game on the sidelines, where he just goes, well, I guess we're going to the AFC Championship, boys. Goes off and then kicks a banger through. I love that attitude.
Oh, yeah.
From a kicker.
Yeah, you better hope you make that, though.
Yeah. And look, he's won some big games for him, but Justin Tucker's also elite. I'm not worried about it. It doesn't mean I want him on my fantasy team, though.
In the comments, John DeLon said he could see Cade York. I could see Cade York being picked, too. To be honest with you, I thought he had gone back to school. And I was wrong. Cade York is in this draft, so I could see him being drafted. If not, he will be a priority free agent.
Yeah, Carson Strong back out for the national team.
8:23 to go, running clock. Carson Strong has been not great. John DeLon said putting up 1 billion yards against the future Grocery Baggers Association of America doesn't always translate to NFL ability. That is correct.
Kurt Warner would like a word.
I was going to say that as well.
As the representative for the Grocery Baggers Association of America.
Smith and Jigba from Ohio State has some great tape. He does, and he's going to put up some unbelievable tape next year. With no Garrett Wilson, no Olave. Smith and Jigba showed in the Rose Bowl exactly what he can do. I like Marvin Harrison's kid, too, on the other side of Smith and Jigba. He had a good Rose Bowl as well. 41% of players drafted in 2021 played in the Senior Bowl.
What does that stat tell you?
Well, first of all, the math on that stat's not accurate. So there's that.
Yeah.
Is it? Well, I guess that could be accurate. They put it on the screen, so I'm assuming that it is. Virtually, I mean, if you make it to the Senior Bowl, you're probably going to get drafted.
Smith just playing the run clock game.
Oh,
that wasn't a bad throw from Strong earlier there. It just the decision making was a little slower than you want to see for a quarterback in that position. One extra move in the pocket, and he's lucky he didn't get strip sacked.
Winding down here, 6:40 to go, second 8, excuse me. National team has the ball with Carson Strong in at quarterback. Charlie Kohler. There's Charlie Kohler. He's been completely quiet today. It's a name that I thought was going to have a better day today than he has.
Who's the most disappointed you haven't heard from today?
Arnold Ebiketie would be pretty high on that. Alec Pierce has done absolutely nothing. That I've heard who am I the most Kohler would be up there pretty high. Logan Hall, I didn't hear much from him. That's just the national team guys. Didn't see much of Tariq Castro Fields. Don't remember. I don't remember saying his name at all. On the American side, disappointed in Howell.
Yeah.
Damian Pierce has not had the role that I thought he would today. Haven't seen much of Jalen Tolbert. Calvin Austin didn't turn a great week of practice into a great game, but the week of practice will be enough to help him. I I've heard absolutely nothing from Kingsley Enagbare. Hated to see John Ridgway get hurt earlier. He was a guy I was looking forward to seeing play in this game. Haven't heard much from JoJo Doman, the linebacker out of Nebraska. DeMarco Jackson's been quiet. Damone Clark, I talked him up of, he was going to have a great game. He had one play early. And then Tariq Woolen, I haven't heard much from him either. And Terry and Kendrick, I forgot he was here, and Yusuf Corker. So, I mean, a lot of guys that I could reasonably say didn't make the most of their opportunity. Now, that's not that's not your undoing. You can get away. You can get past that. Have a good combine. Every player I just said is going to get drafted. It's just a question of where. Yeah, speaking of Brock Bowers, there he is. Michael Meyer, by the way, the kid right below Bowers, he's a bad cat, too. He'll be a first-round pick next year.
That throw from Strong was stupid.
That's trusting your guy. That's Romeo Dubs. Used to him at Nevada. Just assuming he's going to get separation, then he doesn't. And it's a good play, though.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad design. He just didn't. He couldn't get away from any coverage at all. This is all set up. I had a little bit of a PI. I don't know if I call it a good one or a bad one.
This needs to be a big throw from Strong. Get in the end zone here, kind of salvage the day, or hand it off. That's.
Yeah. Let's just hand it off. It's been the name of the game today. Hand it off has been the kind of the way that we've gone. Of course, 4-down territory with the lead.
Oh yeah, you're not kicking this.
No.
Not in an all-star game.
No.
Oh, that's another name that I haven't said much today. Leon O'Neal. I haven't said much of him today either. Rashad White with the touchdown.
Oh, laundry on the field.
Well, that probably changes that. Stuart West asked, is there a draft prospect this year who teams have fallen in love with because of his measurables, but who still actually has a massive bust potential? Daniel Faalele would be one. John DeLon answered Kayvon Thibodeau. In terms of players that I think have the highest bust potential,
oh no.
Guys that I think have a tremendous bust potential. Oh no, that's not good. That's not good at all.
That's less than an extra point.
Yeah, that didn't help your cause.
No.
Oh, Mr. Mevis. And Hookem, the Texas Longhorn, goes crazy.
Hey, he's having a field day. He loves it.
Guys that I could see being bust, David Ajabo. I feel like people have kind of gone crazy on him. He needs to go to the right system. I don't want to see him wind up with the New York Jets or the Giants. Although the Jets do have an edge rusher on the other side of him. Karl Loftus. I like George Karl Loftus a lot, but the hype on him's gotten rather insane. And I don't want to say this, and you got to take it for what it's worth. There's talk that Drake London could go at 2. That's okay. We've gone because Drake London's probably my favorite player in this draft, but taking him at 2 is insane.
Lobby says Hutchison for me. He beat bad players, but against good O linemen, he looked average.
The only problem with that is that the best game tape he put out all year was against the number 4 tackle in this class, in Nicholas Petit-Ferrer. But other than that, you're completely right. He was borderline irrelevant against Georgia. and by borderline irrelevant, I'm resisting the urge to say very, very, very bad. Hey, Greg Dulcich with a catch. Didn't think it would be 2:46 in the game remaining before I said his name.
We haven't seen much from any wide receiver, really. We've seen a couple of tight ends show out here, but there hasn't been a lot of wide out action at all, even in the slot. Most of the checkdowns have been to running backs.
Stuart West said, interesting because bust potential is 2 edge players who are supposedly top 5. Well, I mean, here's the thing. To be a bust, you have to go reasonably high. Bust potential is not going to come from a kid that's going in the second and third round. Yes, they can still be busts, but in terms of talking about falling in love with the measurables, bust to me means they're going higher than the tape says that they should.
Yeah.
But now if you would like somebody that's in more of the mid-tier, somebody in more of the mid-tier. I could say, Tank wouldn't like this, but I could see Nakobe Dean. He's just so short. Oh, guess who?
Yeah.
Boyamafe. Is that a great day?
Stewart asked, does Drake London get good separation, especially against NFL defenders? And he does like London, but that's a fair question.
That's really the only thing that can prevent him from being a very highly drafted receiver. There are questions about that because he's not blindingly fast and he doesn't play as fast as I think he would run. But I think he's so big and physical that on the ends, especially working over the middle, I like him as a high point receiver. I mean, it's the third year in a row I've had a player like that the question was, can you get separation? And they've all three come out of the same school. Michael Pittman, Amon St. Brown, and now Drake London. And I hit on the first two pretty aggressively. The thing with USC is I just don't feel like the team's been well coached in so long, and it has so much raw talent that's where a lot of value comes from. You don't get a lot of guys that fall out of the sky from Alabama or LSU or DeLon asked Drake's likely to be a slot receiver in the NFL. I think he's an outside guy personally. He can play in the slot. He's a very big slot, a mismatch for sure. But I will tell you this, over the course of, today is February the 5th. The draft is starts April the 28th. Over the course of the next 2 months, you're going to see names start screaming up boards. That's why I started throwing them out early. Tyler Smith out of Tulsa, I'm telling you right now, you're going to see that kid in the top 25. Just the narrative on him alone and how few offensive linemen there are, and that would scare me. Stuart West said Drake London would be a good offensive rebounder in basketball. He was. He played on the USC basketball team. He's a pretty good player, too. AP most valuable player. We all already know who it's going to be. At least Vegas aggressively thinks they know who it's going to be. Hey, here's Arnold Ibakite. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, no, that's Lakita again.
Yeah, it's Lakia. That's just the replay from
Oh, okay.
one of the many Bailey Zapp sacks.
I have no sound up, so I didn't. Now I'm seeing the highlight package.
Free play.
I have a funny feeling that one of these edge guys is going to end up with the Jets. All of them playing for Salah.
Yeah. You got to think this kind of acts as an early interview process for a lot of these guys when you get the opportunity to coach them here.
Oh, yeah.
Unofficially, of course. We don't believe in tampering.
Oh, it's not tampering. So teams are allowed to do interviews at the Senior Bowl. So everybody got positioning with these guys.
Yeah.
Roy said this just in: the Spicy Lovers Pizza is legit. Got mine with stuffed crust. Oh.
Stuffed crust is like a 3,000 IQ play with the Spicy Lovers Pizza.
Oh yeah, because then you have the little bite that's right at the crust. Oh yeah, that's happening. Yeah, thanks, Roy. Hadn't thought of that. Totally doing it now.
Roy is the MVP of the Senior Bowl.
100%. Yeah, it's Boya Mafe, Roy, and all of you for hanging in with us. We're at almost 1,600 playbacks now. And I can definitively tell you that probably 1,300 of them were people trying to watch the game on YouTube, of which why people do that I'll never know.
Yeah.
But you guys pushing the average watch time up to a respectable 5 minutes and 48 seconds. Tell I'm tired. That 4 looked like a 7. I was about to go, YouTube, there's not 78 seconds in a minute.
And we appreciate it.
Oh, 100%.
Appreciate everyone for smashing that like and sharing out this stream and the show in general, Monday to Fridays.
We could not do this without you. We wouldn't want to, because then it's just, what we do at every bar in Asheville is we're sitting around talking about sports. We already do that. Speaking of that, we will be doing that next Sunday for the Super Bowl. I will have information on that Monday on the ESPN Radio show.
I will sadly be up here in Canada, but that's okay.
In the midst of you said in the midst of an ice storm, right?
Yeah, we had 20 straight hours of freezing rain, followed by like 10-ish hours of snow. So next week it'll probably be warm and it'll all melt anyway because our weather's a little kooky duke. So
it's reasonably warm here today. John DeLona said, any chance the Jets take Stingley? No offense, Jeremy, but I hope not. Yeah, there is no chance we take him that high. Now, is there a possibility we take Sauce Gardner that high? Yes. Stuart West came in and said people have cooled off on Stingley. Seems like I've heard scouts that like both Washington Husky corners above Stingley. Trent McDuffie for sure. Kyler, they're close. But I would still say that I would put Stingley ahead of Kyler Gordon. I was blanking on his last name. But I do like Sauce Gardner better, and I do like Trent McDuffie better. Roger McCreary has made his case this week as well from Auburn.
You're in a long down situation when on the TV they just say, third down. It's just third down.
It's third and a bajillion.
How many yards? I don't know. More than you're going to get this play. Give it a go.
Yeah, Stingley. The hate on Stingley is getting it's quite aggressive. His freshman tape was so good, but then everything from there has just been mediocre. He's been hurt. Not a lot to love. One minute to go in the Senior Bowl. That was a tight window throw. Unfortunately, it was to a 5'7" receiver in Calvin Austin III. Majabi asked, is Kyrie Elam still a highest prospect? I would say second rounder. He's another that the tape's inconsistent. The athletic ability is better than the talent per se. Jalen Pitra, that's a safety out of Baylor. The first time we said his name today, he's a guy that's well thought of in NFL circles.
Oh, my God.
4th and 22. Bailey Zapp drops back to pass. Not a lot of great things can happen here. Heaves it. Oh, boy. Two receivers attempted to catch it at the same time. Calvin Austin actually got it. First down.
I can't wait for you to catch up.
Are you a full play ahead of me?
Yeah, I'm a whole play ahead.
Oh, Bailey Zapp. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, hey, you remember when I said Jalen Petra? First of all, that might be the worst pass you ever see a competitive high-level college football player throw.
Remember when everybody was on Jimmy G for that, failed attempt to get that check down out?
Yeah, you can't hate Jimmy G and not hate what you just saw. But that will win it for the New York Jets coaching staff and the national team.
Hey, take your victories where you can.
Second victory I've seen for Ron Middleton.
Even if it's college players in an all-star game.
Majabi asked, I really wanted Hamza Nasiruddin last year. How was he with the Jets? He got hurt. He was a contributor. Learning to play that is as bad a throw as you'll ever see.
Yep.
And he was wide open.
It is all sorts of ugly.
And it's all over here from Mobile, Alabama. National Team 20, American Team 10.
Who's your all-star, Jeremy?
Oh, probably Boye Mafe, honestly. Look at him with the they hit they had the Gatorade cooler full of Reese's cups.
Absolutely.
So what are you going to do with those Reese's cups now? Because you could totally put them in a box and send them my way, and I won't be mad about it at all. I would say, yeah, my defensive MVP would be Boye Mafe. Offensively, I think it's got to be Abram Smith.
Yeah, I think Smith has to be the offensive guy. I liked what I saw out of Mafe. He bullied the second half. First half was pretty quiet, but second half really kind of showed out. Mojave says Winfrey, also a strong candidate.
Definitely a strong candidate there. I would say he cemented himself as a top 40 pick in this. Sterway said Detroit loses again. I totally want a Gatorade bath of Reese cups. Ron Middleton's such a wonderful guy. I love that they do this.
Torture ticket.
Do what now? You hesitated, or you froze right there for a second. I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, I said it's the opposite of a torture ticket.
Oh yeah. Good for Ron Middleton. I love that they give they give one of the position coaches the chance to coach this. That's fantastic. The Senior Bowl's always been a class act, and I need to explain this that I am not there. But it's not because of the Senior Bowl. It's something that I did mixed with a timing. They would have happily had me. That is one of the class events in all of sports. They do a fantastic job. Oh, all right.
Well, guys, we did it.
We made it through. For some reason, that felt longer than both conference championship games last week.
Well, that's because there was hardly any offense and the defense was slow, and we subbed out 47 times.
That's true.
Different players.
It's true. But this was fun. We appreciate David Smith of Armchair Commentary hopping in with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will have a video review of the Senior Bowl, stock up, stock down. Goal will be to put that out probably Monday after Senior Bowl stock watch, and then we'll get into the mock drafts. Don't forget that our overrated band bracket comes out in the happy hour on Monday, 5:05. We'll be back with the ESPN Radio Show live right here on the YouTube stream at 3 o'clock. You can hear it locally here in Asheville, 92.9, 880, 1400, and everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We appreciate you guys so much. This has been fun. So much draft to come. It is officially the first day of Draftmas. The Senior Bowl it was everything I thought it would be. Parting thoughts,
Merry
Armchair.
Draftmas, everybody. Merry Draftmas, everybody. Just so you guys know, I have my own podcast if you're interested in checking it out. I talk about historical sports, not this stuff. You can find me wherever you get your podcast. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys, Tank and Jeremy, for having me on anytime.
Anytime. That's actually how I met David originally. I did his show. And it's been a wonderful working partnership since, and friendship and all those things. And Dave, I appreciate you coming and doing this with me. It has been phenomenal. We're going to try to find different live stream things to do like this. I know we're going to do one for March Madness. Yeah. The first 2 days of March Madness, that could get really aggressive. So we may have to find somebody to do the ESPN show for us. But for David Smith of Armchair Commentary, I am Jeremy Greene of ESPN Radio Asheville. We appreciate you so much for checking us out. Check us out Monday, 3 o'clock, ESPN Radio, overrated band bracket, 5:05 in the happy hour. Everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday.